MC Pokémon, I can get a 100-fold return. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 151 Master Key. Enter Team Rocket Base. I'm a trainer from the Alliance. I'm here to destroy Team Rocket's base. Zacian's eyes flickered. He looked at Miss Qiuhui in front of him and said with a smile, Miss Qiuhui is the only surviving member of the family on Time Island, and she also has many trainers under her care. Team Rocket and others were afraid of Miss Qiuhui's hidden power, so they didn't dare to attack her. Otherwise, the high-end resorts might also be annexed. Sure enough, after hearing Zacian's words, Miss Qiuhui was shocked, and a look of surprise flashed in her eyes. People from the Alliance? The Alliance finally realized the situation on the 7 islands? To be honest, when her family was detained by Team Rocket and others, Miss Akahu also tried to contact the people from the Alliance. However, to her dismay, Team Rocket cordoned off the entire island. As soon as you leave the island, Team Rocket will attack you. Not a single piece of news could be spread. Even Miss Joy, the CEO of the Alliance at the Pokémon Center, was stopped by Team Rocket. The reason Zacian was able to enter was because Team Rocket and others failed in their capture plan on Jiren Island and Frozen Island. Having reduced their control over the entire Time Island, they all began to enter the branch, intending to lurk. Wait until the storm has passed before planning. As for Team Rocket's branch, it was in the area where the Time Island family was previously managed. However, Zacian searched there, but couldn't find the entrance to the base. In this case, as the only member of that family outside, Miss Qiuhui must know something. And under Zacian's temptation, changes were indeed revealed. Yes, not only that, Kona, the 4 heavenly kings of the Kanto region, has also returned to the Frozen Island. He also notified the Alliance that reinforcement will be sent to destroy the Team Rocket branch on the 7 islands. Summer Point nodded and said. Hearing this, the joy on Miss Qiuhui's face became even more intense. If people from the Alliance really arrive, then her entire family will be able to be rescued. Thinking of this, Miss Qiuhui looked at Zacian and said, the address of Team Rocket's base is in the largest villa group in the management area. There is a big tree inside, and the entrance to their base is right next to it. However, there is a mechanism there. It is still a bit troublesome to find the entrance. And there are secret sentries monitoring the entrance. If you get close, you will be expelled. Is there? When she was exploring the villas in summer, she also noticed the tall tree, but she did not look for it carefully. Because it was just an ordinary area and there was no way to find the entrance to Team Rocket's base. In this way, Team Rocket's base is extremely hidden. Later, Zacian asked, so, is there any way to enter the Rocket's base? Miss Qiuhui looked at Zacian, hesitated, and said, when I was inspecting the Rocket's base before, I happened to have a key to enter the base, but I never had time to use it. The main reason is that I'm not strong enough. If I use it rashly, I'm afraid that the Rockets will stop me. Zacian nodded. That is true. To be honest, the 7 Islands branch is quite strong here. Even the 4 heavenly kings Kona capsized in the gutter. Not to mention a small family on the Time Island. Thinking of this, Zacian smiled and said, I wonder if you can give me the key. I plan to enter the Rocket space to take a look. Miss Qiuhui thought for a moment, nodded, and said, the key is in mine. At home. Let's get out of the hole of no return first. So, under the leadership of Miss Qiuhui, Zacian came to Miss Qiuhui's house in a high-end resort. Quickly, Miss Qiuhui took out the key to the Team Rocket 7 Islands branch office and handed it to Zacian. Ding. Congratulations to the player for obtaining the special accessory, Team Rocket 7 Islands Division Key, with 100 times the benefit. The Team Rocket 7 Islands Division Key has been upgraded to a Master Key. Use this key to open all the locks. Zacian's eyes flashed. He took the key, then nodded towards Miss Qiuhui and left the luxury resort. Then, Zarshan walked towards the location of the villas. Arriving at the villa complex area again, Zarshan searched for it and suddenly found something strange in the villa beside the big tree. There is a small courtyard of the villa beside the big tree. In the small courtyard, there are two members wearing Team Rocket uniforms. They were observing the situation outside from time to time. Presumably it was the secret whistle that Miss QIUHUI mentioned. Zarshan's eyes flashed, and he touched the small courtyard. Approaching them, Zarshan released Pikachu and directly let Pikachu stun them. In this plot, players can let Pokémons attack NPCs. Of course, this will not make the NPCs disappear directly, it will only make them faint. After stunning the Team Rocket members, Zarshan searched around the big tree again and finally discovered the entrance to the Team Rocket base. It turns out that the entrance to the Team Rocket base is in a bush beside a big tree. On the grass, there is a similar identification machine, which should be at the place where the key is inserted. Then, Zarshan took out the master key and put it into the identification machine. Drop. A sound similar to a prompt rang out. Verification successful. Then, a hole suddenly opened in the grass. At the entrance of the cave, there is a staircase leading down. This should be the entrance to the base. Zarshan's eyes flashed, and he walked towards the entrance of the cave. Zarshan was a little surprised when he entered Team Rocket's base from the entrance. Because Team Rocket's base is built with a sense of technology, Zarshan relied on the master key in his hand to travel smoothly and quickly arrived at the center of Team Rocket's base. At the same time, in the Rocket's central control room, the faces of the Rocket's members on duty suddenly changed when they saw a young man who was not wearing the Rocket's uniform. Someone invaded the base, the team member exclaimed. When the rest of the service staff heard this, their expressions also changed. Sound the alarm. Just as Zarshan was wandering around the Rocket's base, a sharp and piercing alarm suddenly sounded. Have you been discovered? After Zarshan heard the alarm, he raised his eyebrows and was slightly surprised. However, he didn't care and continued walking forward. However, Team Rocket's response was relatively quick, and someone arrived soon. Seeing this, Zarshan simply smiled and directly released his 6 Pokémons. As for the people of Team Rocket, after seeing the 6 Pokémons in the summer, their expressions suddenly changed, with horrified expressions on their faces. It's him. It's that person. Quick, sir, that person has called. There were bursts of exclamations in the base. Obviously the people of Team Rocket are already familiar with the Pokémons of the summer. Zarshan was immediately recognized. Moreover, the Pokémons of the summer are too powerful, far more than these people, and the impression they leave is too deep. Just leave a shadow. Immediately, those Team Rocket members released their Pokémon one after another, trying to resist Zarshan's steps. However, all of this is in vain. Under the attack of the summer Pokémon, the Rockets were quickly defeated. Zarshan almost pushed it to the end by himself. After all, the level difference between the two is really huge. The sprites of the Team Rocket members are practically one move. I was stunned by the summer Pokémon. Soon, the corridors of the base were filled with Team Rocket members. These are all the Team Rocket members who were knocked unconscious by Zarshan. After defeating these people, Zarshan continued walking through the passage into the base. Chapter 152. Direct Breakdown. The Escaped Team Rocket Squad. At the same time, in the Rocket's central control room, Team Rocket leaders Garm and Carter were discussing matters with the other Team Rocket researchers. At this moment, a sharp, deafening siren suddenly sounded, causing everyone to frown. What's going on? The Team Rocket leaders were a little confused. However, at this moment, a Team Rocket member pushed open the door to the central control room and ran in. Sir, it's bad. That trainer last time. What trainer? Carter, the leader of Team Rocket, frowned and scolded. Just, the trainer who ruined our capture plan, came in. What? How is it possible? How did you find this place? Carter and Garm. His expression suddenly changed, and he suddenly stood up from his chair, his face full of disbelief. Gam, what should we do now? Carter said solemnly. What else can we do? Evacuate first. This matter must be reported immediately. Carter Garm said, a flash of panic in his eyes. That's all we can do for now. Carter nodded and replied. As a result, the Team Rocket researchers quickly packed their belongings and ran towards the safe passage. At this moment, a member of the Team Rocket captain said, wait a moment, Lord Carter and Garm, if we leave now, what about these prisoners? The researcher's words made both Carter and Garm of Team Rocket. He was stunned for a moment, and then said, these prisoners will be left to you. By the way, don't forget to take the sapphire. At this moment, Carter seemed to remember something, and said to a few Rockets researcher, yes. The researcher nodded. Then, everyone left the central control room together. After the Rockets researchers left the central control room, they came to a hidden location. After arranging everything, they hurriedly fled the base. As they were fleeing, the base's automatic detonation device was activated. At this moment, Zha Xian has arrived at the place where Team Rocket is detaining their personnel. At that moment, Team Rocket's people were planning to take action against those people, but Zha Xian directly let 6 Pokémons knock out Team Rocket and others. Everyone who had closed their eyes and waited for death opened their eyes one after another after hearing the sound. However, when they saw a young man wearing a red and white shirt, blue pants, and a peaked cap, there was a look of surprise on his face. Who are you? Zha Xian looked at the tied up people and said with a smile, I'm a trainer from the Alliance. I'm here to destroy this rocket base. Are you Miss Qiuhui's family? She asked me to rescue you. Hearing this, everyone was stunned, and then a look of surprise appeared on their faces. Qiuhui. Great, I didn't expect Qiuhui to actually contact the Alliance. We can finally get out. They have been imprisoned here for more than half a year, and they also know how powerful Team Rocket is. Therefore, when they were controlling him, Qiuhui was also told not to come to rescue them. But now things have changed, which has to make them happy. By the way, we have to get out quickly. The top leaders of Team Rocket have already retreated, and when they retreated, they activated the base's automatic detonation device, a middle-aged man said. This middle-aged man is Qiuhui's father. You're moving so fast? Zha Xian frowned when he heard this. So they took a sapphire? Zha Xian asked. Yes, I saw their researcher carrying a sapphire and moving away from the safe passage, the middle-aged man replied. Oh. Zha Xian raised his eyebrows. Where's the safe passage? Zha Xian was silent for a moment and continued to ask. Now it seems that the task of retrieving sapphire is really troublesome. However, since the task of retrieving energy gems is the main plot of the 7 Islands map, it shouldn't be that easy to complete. From this passage to the end, right there, I saw them walking in that direction. However, if you want to take that passage, you must have the key to Team Rocket's base, the middle-aged man replied. Zha Xian nodded and then asked the Pokémons to untie everyone's restraints. After finishing these things, Zha Xian led everyone down the hallway until they reached the end. At the end of the hallway is a closed door. Beside the door is an identification machine. Zha Xian took out the master key from his backpack and swiped it through the identification machine. Drop. Recognition successful. After a message sounded, the door slowly opened. Behind the door is a staircase leading to the ground. Everyone, please follow my steps. Zha Xian said as he walked forward. Then, he led the 6 Pokémons into the passage. Soon, everyone arrived at the hallway. After entering the hallway, the door slowly closed. After a while, Zha Xian led everyone, and finally arrived at the ground. The exit of this safe passage is at the other end of the villa complex. Shortly after Zha Xian brought everyone to the ground, the time for the automatic detonation device at Team Rocket's base also reached the last second. Boom. 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 Immediately afterwards, there was a violent explosion in the center of the entire villa cluster. Large areas of buildings were directly ruined under the explosion, and smoke and dust rose up, covering the sky and the sun. After everyone saw the explosion, they were relieved. If, without Zha Xian's leadership, they might have been buried in this huge explosion. Thinking of this, everyone looked at Zha Xian with gratitude. The huge explosion in the villa complex also attracted the attention of many residents on the island. Everyone was speculating about what happened in the villa cluster. At this moment, Miss Qiuhui, who was in the luxury resort, saw the explosion in the villa complex, and her expression suddenly changed. She ran towards the direction of the villas with an anxious expression on her face. When she arrived, she saw her family members who were safe and sound, and a look of excitement appeared on her face. And she also saw Zarshian's figure in the crowd. Thinking about it, it should be Zarshian who rescued her family members. Later, Miss Qiuhui walked up to Zarshian and said gratefully, "Thank you for saving my family. By the way, you have a lot of power on the island. Have you seen the people who retreated from Team Rocket? Where did they go?" Zarshian asked after a pause. "Have the rockets retreated?" Miss Qiuhui was a little surprised when she heard this. "Yes, shortly after I entered the base, I was discovered by them and had a big battle. In the end, not only did they escape, they also detonated the base." Zarshian nodded and said. When Miss Qiuhui heard this, she thought for a moment and suddenly seemed to remember something. He patted his head and said, "By the way, there seemed to be a helicopter taking off from the villa complex just now, passing by the high-end resort and heading towards Taco Island." Flying in the direction of Daxing Island? Zarshian frowned when he heard this. This Team Rocket kid really knows how to run. Shaking his head helplessly, Zarshian said goodbye to Miss Qiuhui and the others, then released the fire-breathing dragon and chased after it in the direction of Taco Island. Taco Island is to the east of Time Island, not far from here, more than 10 kilometers away. After this plot, Zarshian has almost finished with all the islands in the 7 islands. Now only Taco Island and Discovery Island have not been visited. Now, it's time to take this opportunity to visit all the islands. Maybe we can unlock the map of the 7 islands like the Phi Isle area. Chapter 153 Team Rocket's Researcher, Project Mutuo. During the summer chase, the people from Team Rocket had already arrived at Duxing Island by helicopter. In fact, there is not only a branch of Team Rocket on the 7 islands. In addition to having a branch base on the 5-island Time Island, they also have a temporary base on the 6-island Taco Island. The location of this temporary base is in the Valley of Ruins on Taco Island. In the center of the Valley of Ruins, there is a place called Point Cave. This is a mysterious ancient ruins. Because the people who discovered these ruins noticed that there were 6 points on the door, they named this place the Point Cave. The temporary base of the rockets is stationed near Point Cave. This is because a senior researcher named Cheng Fu in Team Rocket was very interested in these ruins, so he specially set up this base near Point Cave. This senior researcher named Cheng Fu is not only an archaeologist, but also a trainer who is not weaker than the rocket's cadres. The reason why the 2 Team Rocket cadres came to this base was, on the one hand, to avoid Zarshian's tracking, and on the other hand, to seek support from researcher Cheng Fu. Team Rocket's helicopter quickly landed in the Valley of Ruins, and the other Team Rocket members in the Valley of Ruins were stunned for a moment when they saw the sudden arrival of the helicopter. Soon, the helicopter landed in the valley, and all the members of the Time Island base walked out of the hatch. At this moment, researcher Cheng Fu also walked out of the time base and looked at the 2 rocket leaders, Gum and Carter, with a surprised expression on his face. "Why are you here?" Feeling the strange gaze from researcher Cheng Fu, Carter and Gum also smiled bitterly and said, "The Time Island base is over." Suddenly changed. As soon as he changed, there was a look of horror in his eyes, and his face was full of disbelief. The Time Island base was built by their 7 Islands branch for more than half a year. The main facilities and equipment are all there. However, now Carter and Gum say that the base on Time Island is completed. What's going on? Thinking of this, researcher Cheng Fu frowned and said coldly, "What's going on? What happened? What's the situation at the Time Island base?" Gum and Carter looked at each other and said, "Dr. Cheng Fu, our previous plans to capture flame birds and frozen birds were ruined by a mysterious Alliance trainer. That mysterious Alliance trainer is powerful, comparable to a champion, and he even has a legendary one. Not only that, but even the stolen ruby from the Alliance." Researcher Jin Hui was recalled. Moreover, he also found the location of our base on Time Island. His strength was so powerful that we had no choice but to blow up the base on Time Island. How is that possible? Aren't you all elite members of Team Rocket? How can a trainer accomplish this? Researcher Chengfu's pupils suddenly shrank when he heard this. He never thought that the reason for destroying the Time Island base would be like this. Moreover, the trainer they talked about was actually very powerful. They actually forced two important cadres, Carter and Gum, to this point. Drive Chengfu, we know that the current situation is very urgent, so we are ready to report to the headquarters. At the same time, we also need your help. Gam said. What? My help? Researcher Chengfu was stunned for a moment. He then understood what Gam said. What Gam meant was that he wanted the members of his time base to join together to deal with the trainer. After all, the strength of his time base is also very strong. Yes, Dr. Chingo, this is probably the biggest problem our Seven Islands branch has ever encountered. But I believe that, if the three of us join together, the trainers of that alliance won't be able to do anything to us. After all, there are three of us here who are as powerful as the Sky King. No matter how strong his Pokémon is, I think it will be easier for us to deal with him. Also, if he can really do that, I'm afraid he won't let us get away. What I'm worried about now is whether the Alliance trainer will find Niijima. You know, Dr. Fuge's research has reached a critical moment. Carter said in a calm tone. Hearing this, Kadagamu and researcher Chengfu also nodded solemnly. Carter's words were exactly what they were most worried about. If the Time Island base is destroyed, it will be destroyed. All of this is insignificant. But the most important thing is the newly created island, Zindao, in the south of the Seven Islands. The Rockets spent a lot of manpower and material resources to build that small island. If the new island base is destroyed, it will definitely be a huge blow to Team Rocket. Moreover, this loss is irreparable. After all, the technological level of the new island is much better than that of Team Rocket's other bases. Moreover, Team Rocket cannot copy the genetic information of the elven creatures to the new island base. Because if the experiments they are currently conducting are spread, they will definitely be suppressed by the entire world. The Mutuo project is a grand plan that the Rockets have been preparing for several years, and it may change the world. There is no room for failure. If that Alliance trainer dares to come, we must not let him leave alive. Researcher Chengfu said lightly, a cold and terrifying light flashing in his eyes. Gum and Carter, the two core members of Team Rocket, nodded their heads when they heard this. Then, the three people began to discuss the plan to deal with Zaoshan, as well as some countermeasures. At the same time, Zaoshan also followed and arrived at Daxing Island. Entering the sky above Taco Island, Zaoshan did not rush down, but instead let the fire-breathing dragon fly all over Taco Island. The people of Team Rocket are sitting in a helicopter. It should be impossible to hide it so quickly. It should be hiding somewhere on Taco Island. Finally, after flying around Taco Island, I finally saw Team Rocket's helicopter in a valley. That valley is the Valley of Ruins. After Zaoshan saw it, his eyes flashed, and he directly let the fire-breathing dragon land. At this moment, the Rockets were tidying up the supplies in the temporary base. When they saw the fire-breathing dragon that suddenly landed, their expressions changed, and they quickly raised the alarm. Enemy attack. In an instant, the entire temporary base was thrown into chaos. When the three senior executives of the Rockets heard the alarm, their expressions suddenly changed, but then a cold light flashed in their eyes and they left. Seeing this situation in the air, Zaoshan also showed a hint of surprise on his face. He didn't expect Team Rocket to be on guard against him. However, these are of no use. In the face of absolute strength, everything is a paper tiger. After Zaoshan landed, he directly released all the other Pokémons he was carrying for no reason. The people of the Rockets also moved relatively quickly. They quickly gathered together and stood in front of Zaoshan, facing him. Not long after, the three top executives of the Rockets also appeared in Zaoshan's eyes. Enemies become extremely jealous when they meet. Carter and Gum stared at Zaoshan with cold eyes, as if they wanted to cut him into pieces. After all, Zaoshan destroyed all previous efforts. Wow, I didn't expect you to actually dare to catch up. But this time, you're not so lucky. All the members released their Pokémon. Bursts of white light flashed, and nearly 70 Pokémon instantly appeared in the Valley of Ruins. Even the three top leaders of Team Rocket released their Pokémon. All of their Pokémon are around level 50 and are considered to be at the Quasi-King level. When Zacian saw this situation, he simply smiled and didn't care too much. Although it was his first time facing such a large number of Pokémon, he already had experience in group battles before, which was completely justified. Furthermore, his Pokémon strength hadn't fully exploded during the previous battle. If so, with a full blast, I would be pretty confident that I could defeat these Rockets people. The scene froze, and war was about to break out. Chapter 154. The frightened Rockets obtain the Sapphire. To be honest, everyone in the Rockets was still under a lot of pressure when they faced the 6 Pokémon in the summer. After all, everyone who had participated in the previous 2 plans knew the terrifying strength of Zacian's 6 Pokémon. Facing the Pokémon of the summer again, they still lacked confidence. Zacian's eyes flashed. He looked at the Pokémon on the field, and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. After calming down, Zacian calmly said, "Charizard, Mega Evolution of the Biting Shark." Then, Zacian showed the evolution keystone that was shining with light in his right hand. As the light emitted from the evolution keystone, a burst of dazzling and colorful light erupted from the bodies of the fire-breathing dragon and the biting land shark. Seeing this situation, everyone in the Rockets, including the 3 senior executives, were stunned. Is this the light of evolution? How is it possible? How can Charizard continue to evolve? Researcher Chengfu's eyes widened, as if he saw a ghost, and he looked at Charizard emitting light in disbelief. The rest of the people's eyes almost popped out. Soon, Charizard X and Super Biting Land Shark appeared in front of everyone. Charizard's original black skin, blue belly, and red flames turned light blue, and its momentum was a bit more powerful than before. The same was true for the Super Bite Land Shark. Super evolution is not only a change in appearance, but also a significant improvement in its 6 values, and its strength has also doubled. Everyone in Team Rocket was stunned. These 2 newly evolved Pokémon gave them a great sense of oppression. It's like facing the legendary Pokémon. No, even more terrifying than the legendary Pokémon. Even the legendary Pokémon on the side, the frozen bird, was overshadowed by these 2 Pokémon. In the face of everyone's surprise, Zacian just smiled slightly and directly ordered, "Charizard Hot Wind. Bite the land shark, Sandstorm. Dry. Pikachu, Z move, tens of millions of volts." In an instant, under Zacian's command, his 6 Pokémon erupted with terrifying energy fluctuations, like destroying the world and suddenly bursting out. And out. Boom. As this huge, terrifying wave of energy spread out, the entire Ruins Valley also trembled. Under this violent aura, Team Rocket's Pokémon also fell one after another under the continuous attacks. They looked at their fallen Pokémon with expressions of disbelief on their faces. They really couldn't imagine that the Pokémon of Summer had such terrifying strength. Even legendary Pokémon with priesthood wouldn't be this terrifying, right? At this moment, only the 3 top Pokémon of Team Rocket were left on the field, still panting. Although the wave of attacks just now didn't kill the 3 Pokémon instantly, their blood volume had also dropped to a low point. Seeing everyone's surprised look, Zacian smiled lightly, then ordered again, "Fire-breathing dragon, Purgatory. Bite the land shark, block the rocks. Kill them." I saw a beam of blazing flames erupting from the fire-breathing dragon's body. Bite Land Shark stomped on the ground forcefully, and a huge stone shot out. Under Bite Land Shark's fierce slap, it charged towards the 3 Pokémons rushed away. Within a few breaths, the Pokémons had no time to react, and were directly hit by the fire-breathing dragon and the ferocious biting land shark. In an instant, their blood volume was emptied, and they lost their ability to fight. Quickly retreat. Run quickly. The Rockets finally reacted, and then began to flee crazily. Now they don't care about their teammates at all. Right now, they are very scared, and just want to leave here as soon as possible. However, how can their speed compare to the Pokémon's speed? Zacian directly ordered Pikachu, Charizard, Biting Land Shark, and Frozen Bird to attack and stop them. Whoops. Whoops. Wow. I saw energy fluctuations, like rays of light, flying in all directions, blocking the path of all the fleeing people. When these attacks fell on the ground, everyone in Team Rocket heard loud vibrations and the ground suddenly sank. No. When everyone in Team Rocket saw that the position in front of them turned into huge craters and there were many cracks on the ground, their hearts instantly sank to the bottom. Even the two leaders of Team Rocket and researcher Cheng Fu, their faces were full of solemn expressions at this moment, and their eyes looking at Zha Xian were full of fear and fear. Do you have any last words? Zha Xian looked at the rockets and said lightly. Looking at Zha Xian's calm eyes and the faint smile on his face, everyone in Team Rocket felt cold and shook their heads crazily involuntarily. We surrender. The three top leaders of the rockets looked at each other with a wry smile, and then said helplessly. Although there were thousands of reluctance in their hearts, they had to admit that they were far from being a match for the young man in front of them. To be honest, they originally had great confidence in dealing with this mysterious young man. After all, the three of them are almost kings in strength and should not be underestimated. Coupled with the Pokémon of these elite team members, it should be very easy to deal with Zha Xian. However, they did not know what terror was until they faced the Pokémon of summer. The two leaders of Team Rocket never thought that Zha Xian actually had hidden strength. Haha, isn't that right? Zha Xian looked at the three senior executives of the Rockets with a smile on his face, and then said lightly, since they have given up, quickly take back the piece of Jiu and Hand Island. About the sapphire that was taken from Dr. Jinhu. Hearing this, Team Rocket officers Carter and Gum looked at each other and shook their heads with a wry smile. They were not fools, and understood at this moment that the cause of this series of events was most likely due to the theft of the red and sapphire from Reunion Island. Otherwise, this kind of thing would not happen. This time, the losses suffered by their Seven Islands rocket branch were too severe. Not only did the plan to capture Flamebird and Frozen Bird fail, but even the bases on Time Island and Taco Island were wiped out. Not to mention that the core members of the Seven Islands branch, will most likely be stopped by people from the Alliance. Then, Team Rocket leader Carter gritted his teeth and handed the sapphire in his pocket to Zha Xian. Ding. The player obtained the special mission accessory sapphire. After Zha Xian put the sapphire into his backpack, he asked all the rockets to crouch down and wait for the Alliance people to come. After all, with such intense fighting on the island, it was inevitable to attract attention. Moreover, upon leaving the Island of Time, Zha Xian asked QIUHUI and others to contact the Four Kona Heavenly Kings to come to Taco Island. Sure enough, after waiting not long, the Four Kona Heavenly Kings took the Alliance personnel and arrived at Zha Xian's location in a helicopter. With the arrival of the Four Kona Heavenly Kings and their team, Team Rocket and others were quickly stopped. At this moment, King Kona also walked up to Zha Xian and said with a smile, "This time, you have contributed a lot to destroying Team Rocket's base on the Seven Islands. The Alliance will give you some rewards." Hearing this, Zha Xian also smiled and said, "It's not a surprise to see that you are a member of the Alliance. Nothing, it's just a small effort. I'll leave these people to you. I have to rush back to Reunion Island and give the sapphire to Dr. Jinhu." Well, okay. The four Heavenly Kings nodded. Then, Zha Xian gathered the remaining 5 Pokémons, sat on the back of the fire-breathing dragon, soared into the sky, and flew towards Reunion Island. The main plot quest of Seven Islands has finally come to an end. After completing this quest, Zha Xian plans to explore the last island of the Seven Islands. This can be considered to unlock the Seven Islands. Chapter 155, Dragon Slate, Chance Encounter with Alchemy Emperor. After about half a day, Zha Xian finally returned to Juan Island again. Later, Zha Xian arrived at the Pokémon Center and found Dr. Jinhu who was inspecting the equipment. When Dr. Jinhu saw Zha, he was stunned for a moment. Then, he looked at Zha Xian in surprise and asked, "Why are you back?" Zha Xian smiled and said, "I have successfully retrieved another sapphire." His face. At Dr. Jinhu's joyful expression, Zha Xian took out the sapphire from his backpack and handed it over. Dr. Jinhu took the sapphire handed over by Zha Xian, quickly ran to the power system's energy device, and placed the sapphire and ruby together. In an instant, the energy of the two gems exploded and then passed through the energy conversion device to convert the energy into electricity. With the transmission of energy, those areas of the Pokémon Center that were not powered by electricity also became brighter. The Pokémon Center finally returned to its normal energy. Seeing this scene, Miss Joy, who was standing in front of the treatment machine, also had a joyful expression on her face. This also means that the injured Pokémon staying in the Pokémon Center can receive treatment normally, and their injuries can also recover quickly. Dr. Jinwoo observed the operation of the power system and found that it was relatively normal. He said to Zacian with a grateful face, "The Pokémon Center can return to normal thanks to your help. Thank you very much." Zacian smiled, waved his hand, and said, "You're welcome. This is what I should do. Just do it." At this moment, a reminder appeared in front of Zacian. Ding. Congratulations to the player for completing the Finding the Lost Ruby Sapphire quest. Dr. Jinwoo thought for a moment, then said to Zacian, "By the way, I have something here that I want. Treat it as helping me get it back." A thank you gift of Ruby and Sapphire. Dr. Jinwoo then asked Zacian to wait for him here while he went into the laboratory and rummaged through a cabinet for a while. Soon after, when Dr. Jinwoo appeared in front of Zacian again, he had a box in his hand. He came to Zacian, handed the box to Zacian, and said, "This is an item I obtained by chance. I don't know how to use it specifically. I will give it to you now." Zacian nodded, took the box in Dr. Jinwoo's hand, opened it, and saw half a light red slate inside. Ding. Congratulations to the player for obtaining the Incomplete Dragon Slate accessory, 100x bonus. The obtained item, Incomplete Dragon Slate, has been upgraded to Dragon Slate. After carrying it, the power of the Pokémon's dragon skills will be enhanced. Zacian was also a little surprised when he saw this Dragon Slate. The Dragon Slate is one of the sources of power of the creator god Arceus. He also did not expect to obtain a Dragonstone tablet here. This can be considered an unexpected surprise. Moreover, Zacian still seems to remember that in Pokemon Minecraft, as long as 17 stone slabs are collected, the Holy Grail is added. You can summon the legendary Pokémon, the god of creation, Arceus. After bidding farewell to Dr. Jinwoo, Zacian plans to go to the last island of the 7 islands, the Island of Discovery. Zacian remembers that in the Pokemon game, there are a large number of ruins on the exploration island of the 7 islands. It is said that they all record the existence of some legendary Pokémons. Perhaps you can find some information about the legendary Pokémon in it. Zacian then released the fire-breathing dragon and flew towards the location of Discovery Island. Discovery Island is located north of Frozen Island and east of Daxing Island. The town on the exploration island is called the 7th Island. Relatively speaking, other parts of the island retain more natural features. There are mountains on the island, but they are difficult to climb. After Zacian arrived at Discovery Island, he first went to the Pokémon Center to see if he could find some information. I learned from Miss Joy at the Pokémon Center. There is an old woman nearby who runs a battle house. After battling her, you can get special gifts. There is a trainer tower in the north. Trainers from all over the world come here and challenge it, trying to reach the top in the shortest time. To the south is the entrance to the 7 Streams Treasure Valley. There is a small cave called a Scanner's Lock in the valley. Legend has it that by solving its puzzles, you will be able to reveal the secrets of the Ascana ruins. Further south is the end of Discovery Island, which contains the largest ruins in Ascana. Zacian is quite interested in this. However, he planned to go to the battle room to take a look first. Soon, Zacian arrived at the battle room and had a conversation with the old lady outside the house. They learned that, after completing the challenge, their family of 5 would receive a mysterious gift. Seeing this, Zacian naturally agreed. To be honest, with the level and strength of his Pokémon, it can be said that he can beat them. With a huge gap in the Pokémon's levels, Zacian quickly defeated their family of 5. And the old lady also handed Zacian a reward. Ding. Congratulations to the player for obtaining the Dragon Dance Skill Disc X1 100-fold bonus. Obtain Dragon Dance Skill Disc X100. Zacian was still quite surprised when he obtained the Dragon Dance Skill Disc X100. Although the Dragon Dance skill is just a special skill and has no power, it can increase the attack and speed of Pokémon. Combined with some physical attack skills, it can definitely kill gods. Zacian directly allowed Biting Land Shark and Charizard to learn the Dragon Dance skill. However, what makes Zacian a little strange is that Biting Land Shark cannot learn Dragon Dance. This makes Zacian feel a little embarrassed. As a Dragon-type Pokémon, it cannot learn it. Zacian could only helplessly shake his head. Later, Zacian thought that the green caterpillar also had dragon attributes and should be able to learn the Dragon Dance. Thinking of this, Zacian also learned the Dragon Dance for the green caterpillar. After doing this, Zacian arrived outside the battle tower. The battle tower can be regarded as the landmark building of the 7 islands. All trainers who travel to the 7 islands will basically come to the battle tower on Discovery Island to challenge it. When Zacian arrived outside the battle tower, a young man wearing a red coat, white pants, and purple hair walked out from there. "It's you?" When he saw Zacian, there was a look of surprise on his face. Hearing this voice, Zacian was also stopped when he just wanted to enter the battle tower. Zuan even turned his head in confusion and looked at the purple-haired young man. Does this NPC know him? Or is this some kind of hidden mission? At this moment, the purple-haired young man had already arrived in front of Zacian, looking at him with surprise on his face and said, "Chihung, it's you. We finally meet again?" Zacian's face is full of black question marks. Zacian shook his head and said, "You've admitted the wrong person. I'm not Chihung, you can call me Kai." The purple-haired young man was stunned for a moment. Did you admit the wrong person? However, he thought again, is there a difference between red and red? He smiled awkwardly and said to Zacian, "I'm really sorry. You look like someone I know with your clothes on. I thought I had come to 7 islands." Zacian said with a smile. At the same time, a glimmer of light flashed across his eyes. "I'm afraid this young man is talking about the legendary most powerful trainer, right? Hello, let me meet you. My name is Dandy. I'm a trainer from the Galar region. I'm currently working hard to become a master trainer," the purple-haired young man said with a smile. "Alchemy Emperor." When Zacian heard this, he was also slightly surprised, a flash of surprise flashing across his eyes. He didn't expect to meet the future champion of the Galar League and the victorious general of the World Championship, Dan Emperor, here. Hello. Zacian also said with a smile. "By the way, Kai, I think you're also a powerful trainer, right? How about we have a battle? If you beat me, I'll give you the rewards I got from the battle tower. That way, I will give you the specialties of our Galar region." At this moment, Emperor Dan looked at Zacian with fiery eyes, and there seemed to be a fighting spirit burning in his eyes. Hearing this, Zacian thought for a moment and nodded. Dandy may be in trouble if he becomes the champion of the Galar region in the future. However, the current Emperor Dan is not very powerful. According to the strength ranking standards in the plot, his Pokémon level has surpassed the championship level. Next, Zacian and Emperor Dan came to a battlefield outside the battle tower, preparing to begin the battle. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 156, Lost 3 rounds in a row. Where did the monster come from? Standing on the battlefield, Zacian looked at the Dan Emperor in front of him and said with a smile, "Release your Pokémons." With a smile on his face, the Dan Emperor said, "Okay. Then you must be careful, my friend. The strength is, but it is very strong." Then, Emperor Dan took out a Pokémon ball and threw it out. With a flash of white light, a level 50 shield sword monster appeared on the battlefield. Seeing this, Zacian just smiled lightly and then released the Pokémon. The first Pokémon released in summer is the Biting Land Shark. The shield sword monster is a steel and ghost type Pokémon and is only restricted by ground, evil, ghost, and fire type Pokémons. Pokémons with other attributes have no advantage against the shield sword monster. However, for Zacian, attributes, etc., are not a problem at all due to the difference in levels. Seeing that Zacian's starter Pokemon was a biting land shark, Emperor Dan on the opposite side was also stunned for a moment. Then, his expression became serious, and he could sense that this biting land shark was very powerful. Strong Shield Sword Monster, Shadow Sneak Attack. When the Strong Shield Sword Monster heard the order, the pattern on the shield emitted a burst of light and a black shadow followed the ground and attacked the biting land shark. Zacian's expression remained unchanged, and he directly ordered, "Bite land shark, hold on, Dragon Claw." Bite land shark flashed and quickly flew towards the shield sword monster. At this moment, the black shadow on the ground fell below Bite land shark and slammed a punch at Bite land shark. Bang! The attack hit Ligealu shark's body. Ligealu shark frowned, and his blood volume dropped a little. But his figure only paused for a moment, and soon he arrived in front of the strong shield sword monster. Immediately afterward, he extended his sharp claws that emitted purple energy and forcefully struck the shield sword monster. The biting land shark's dragon claw attack was so fast that the shield sword monster had no time to react. Boom. There was a dull explosion and the sharp claws of the biting land shark struck the strong shield sword monster's body. A huge force came, and the shield sword monster felt as if its entire body was crumbling, and its shield-like body was almost shattered. At the same time, the shield sword monster's HP was instantly emptied by the land shark's bite. It then fell to the ground and lost its ability to fight. Instantly kill with a single strike. At this moment, when Emperor Dan saw this situation, his eyes widened, and he was dumbfounded. How is this possible? Although this biting land shark is very strong, his shield sword monster is not bad at all. When he thought about it, there was no way his shield sword monster could survive a few rounds. However, the result of the first battle exceeded his expectations. His shield sword monster was instantly killed with a single move. Zacian lightly smiled and said, "My fierce bite land shark is very strong. I can only say that the strong shield sword monster is far behind." After hearing this, Emperor Dan took a deep breath and then released his goblin. Emperor Dan's second Pokémon is a level 50 Double Axe Battle Dragon. The Double Axe War Dragon is a very representative dragon Pokémon in the Hezhan region, and it can also be regarded as a Pokémon with relatively strong abilities and potential. Zacian's eyes lit up. He took back the biting land shark and replaced it with the frozen bird. When the frozen bird appeared on the scene, Emperor Dan was completely dumbfounded. This is the legendary Pokémon, the frozen bird. Emperor Dan's face was filled with shock, and the way he looked at Zacian completely changed. He also didn't expect that there would be legendary Pokémons in Zacian. There are also frozen birds in their Galar region, but the frozen birds there are different from this blue frozen bird. The frozen bird of the Galar region is lavender in color with white lower tips on its wings. There is a crown composed of 3 wavy violet feathers on the head. The eyes are as small as slits, and there are black feathers on both sides like a mask. Emperor Dan was fortunate enough to see it once in the crown snowfield in the Galar region. It left a deep impression on him. After regaining his composure, Emperor Dan took the lead in launching the attack. Double Axe Fighting Dragon, use Dragon Dance. Following Emperor Dan's order, the body of the Double Axe Fighting Dragon began to dance in a strange dance. The attack and speed of the Double Axe Dragon have also been greatly enhanced. Use Dragon Claw again. A sharp look flashed in the eyes of the Double Axe Battle Dragon, and then a purple energy wave enveloped its claws and rushed towards the frozen bird. Seeing this scene, Zacian only smiled lightly and did not care. So what if the Double Axe Battle Dragon uses Dragon Dance? In front of the frozen bird, those who should die instantly will die instantly. Therefore, Zacian did not hold back and directly said, "Frozen bird, heart eye, frozen lightning." I saw that frozen bird's eyes became sharp, staring at the 2 axes rushing over. Immediately, it opened its beak and an icy blue lightning bolt shot out from it. In the blink of an eye, it bombarded the Double Axe Battle Dragon. As the icy lightning bolt covered it, the Double Axe Battle Dragon's entire body was enveloped in ice. In less than an instant, the Double Axe Battle Dragon was completely frozen. Not only that, the double axe battle dragon was hit by this icy lightning bolt and its health was instantly emptied. Since it was frozen, it did not fall down. This strike from the frozen bird is extremely effective. The double axe battle dragon was instantly killed with one move again. Emperor Dan reluctantly withdrew the double axe battle dragon, gritted his teeth, and released his third Pokémon, which was also the level 50 Thunderbolt King Kong ape. Thunder King Kong is one of the 3 royal families in the Galar region. It is the final evolved form of the knocking monkey, and is a grass-type Pokémon. Zacian smiled slightly, put away the frozen bird, and released the green caterpillar. When Emperor Dan saw the green caterpillar being released, he was also stunned for a moment. What's going on? Kai, why did you send a green caterpillar to the scene? Emperor Dan asked in confusion. Although this green caterpillar is a golden glowing Pokémon that can restrain the Thunderbolt King Kong ape, Emperor Dan doesn't think this green caterpillar is very strong. This type of Pokémon can be said to be the weakest bug Pokémon. Emperor Dan thought that Zacian was releasing water. Zacian smiled and said, "Don't worry, I won't let you offend. My green caterpillar is also very powerful." Dan Emperor nodded. Thunder King Kong, use the green grass field, and then use the sledgehammer. Thunder King Kong the orangutan roared angrily, and beat his chest, and a wave of green energy suddenly filled the air. In an instant, the entire battlefield was enveloped in green energy. Pieces of grass instantly grew on the field. After doing this, Thunderbolt King Kong became angry. A wooden stick appeared out of thin air in his hand, and bombarded the green caterpillar. "Are you going to magnify your moves at the beginning?" Zacian smiled lightly, without any change in his expression, and directly asked the green caterpillar to use the electric grid, and then connected with the dragon wave. A grid composed of electric current wrapped towards the Thunderbolt King Kong ape, enveloping the entire body of the Thunderbolt King Kong ape. Due to the effect of the electric grid, the speed of the Thunderbolt King Kong also slowed down. At this moment, a terrifying purple energy wave suddenly emerged from the green caterpillar. Dragon wave. Boom. A powerful aura erupted, and waves of purple energy spread out. The purple energy fluctuations spread out towards the surroundings. Due to the Thunderbolt King Kong's reduced speed, it was impossible to avoid it. Bathed in purple energy fluctuations, the Thunderbolt King Kong ape felt enormous energy rushing through its body. Immediately afterward, the Thunderbolt King Kong ape's blood volume instantly dropped and it hit rock bottom. Subsequently, the Thunderbolt King Kong fell to the ground and lost its ability to fight. Emperor Dan was dumbfounded. The green caterpillar can actually control dragon waves. His face was filled with disbelief. It can be said that this is the first green caterpillar he has seen that can use dragon wave in all his travels. What kind of trainer am I challenging? His strength is so terrifying. Although it is a bit outrageous, he is almost as strong as Kai Han. A hint of bitterness appeared at the corner of Emperor Dan's mouth. He did not expect that the trainer he had just casually challenged would turn out to be such a powerful opponent. Urki, just like the boy with Pikachu in his memory, was a group with terrifying strength. Moreover, Emperor Dan also learned that Chen won a league championship just 1 year after debuting. Where did these people come from? Chapter 157 Charizard vs. Charizard, Mega Evolution vs. Gigantamax. Emperor Dan took a deep breath and released his fourth Pokémon, the level 50 Flaming Ace. Flaming Ace is also one of the 3 royal families of the Galar region and its ability is quite powerful. Seeing this, Zacian just smiled lightly, then took the green caterpillar and replaced it with Menace. When Emperor Dan saw Zacian changing Pokémon again, his pupils suddenly shrank. He didn't expect Zacian to carry Pokémons, most of which were Pokémons that restricted their attributes, and he couldn't help but reveal a wry smile. This battle is really a bit frustrating. However, Emperor Dan did not give up. Although the situation was very unfavorable for him, he would continue to fight with all his strength. Flash Ace, move at high speed, get close, and then use Fireball. I saw a flash of flame flash in the Flame Ace's eyes. He grabbed a handful of stones from the ground and quickly moved in the direction of Menace. In the blink of an eye, the Flaming Ace was in front of Menace. The stones in his hands were wrapped in flames and thrown towards Menace. Zarshan smiled lightly and said, Menace, water tail, next. In an instant, Menace raised his water-wrapped tail and forcefully struck the flying flaming stones. Boom. With a loud noise, the flaming stones were directly thrown onto the ground by Menace's tail. Seeing that Flaming Ace's attack was blocked so easily, Emperor Dan also had an expression on his face and quickly ordered, Flashing Ace, bounce. Flaming Ace's legs bent slightly, and then he kicked his entire body. He leaped into the air. Zarshan also looked at the Flaming Ace in the air, and directly said to Menace, surfing technique, kill him directly. Hearing this, Menace shouted to express his understanding. Then, his eyes flashed blue, and then huge waves emerged. In an instant, it filled the entire battlefield, and even Menace's figure was dragged towards the Flaming Ace in the air under the waves. At this moment, Flaming Ace had just reached the critical stage of its rebounding abilities. Just as the Flaming Ace was about to fly towards Menace, a raging wave hit it hard. The Flame Ace was hit by the waves, feeling like his entire body was enveloped in water, and lost his balance. The surfing spell causes great damage to Flare Ace. Under this blow, Flare Ace's blood volume was instantly emptied, and he immediately lost his ability to fight back. When the waves disappeared, the Flaming Ace had fallen to the ground, motionless. Emperor Dan sighed. The gap between the two was really too great, and Flaming Ace had no chance to fight back. He silently put away the Flaming Ace, and released the 5th Pokémon again, the level 50,000 faced evasion. It is also the 3 royal families of the Galar region. On Emperor Dan's body, the 3 Guangayu families carried 3. After Thousand Faces escape appeared, Zarshan replaced Pikachu on the field. After seeing Pikachu on the field, Dandy was also a little helpless. Why were all the Pokémons restricted by Zarshan's attributes? Not only that, all of Zarshan's Pokémons are extremely powerful. Soon, Thousand Faces Avoider also fell under Pikachu's electric shock. Seeing this, Emperor Dan could only sigh helplessly. He took a deep breath, looked at Zarshan, and said, Kai, you are the strongest trainer I have seen in a long time, except for Kai Han. Even the strength of some of the League Kings and Champions is far inferior to yours. Next, I will use my strongest Pokémon. Dan Emperor said, kicking it out. The last Pokémon, the level 60 Charizard. Charizard? Although Zarshan was a little surprised, there weren't many surprises. He smiled gently and said, in that case, let me switch to another Pokémon. Let this round be considered the final battle. With a flash of his eyes, Zarshan took back Pikachu, and then replaced Charizard on the field. Dan Emperor was also a little surprised to see that it was a fire-breathing dragon. So you also have a fire-breathing dragon. Okay, Charizard, your opponent is very strong. This time, use your full strength. The Emperor told him. His Charizard said, Charizard, Gigantamax. Dandy shouted, revealing the Gigantamax bracelet on his wrist. Roar. Hearing Emperor Dan's voice, the fire-breathing dragon roared, and a dazzling light erupted all over its body. Then, Emperor Dan's fire-breathing dragon was bathed in light, and began to grow in size. In an instant, a fire-breathing dragon over 30 meters tall appeared on the battlefield. Its enormous body took up half the field. The Gigantamax Charizard grew stronger, the wings on its back turned into burning flames, and the ends of its horns carried flames like its tail. The lower part of its body is white, and the rest of the body becomes an increasingly bright color, with diamond-shaped spots on the skin of its abdomen and lower limbs. Gigantamax? Zarshan looked at the hill-like fire-breathing dragon, and a flash of surprise flashed in his eyes. To be honest, standing in front of this fire-breathing dragon, even Zarshan felt his own insignificance. However, even so, the expression on Zarshan's face did not change at all. He simply smiled lightly and said, in that case, let's go to fire-breathing dragon. Hearing this, the Dan Emperor on the other side was also stunned for a moment. Your Charizard can also work. Charizard, Mega Evolution. Zarshan revealed the evolution keystone in his hand, which was emitting a colorful light. Under the light of the evolution keystone, the fire-breathing dragon's figure also bloomed with a colorful light. In an instant, Zarshan's fire-breathing dragon also began to change. As the colorful light dissipated, the fire-breathing Dragon X also appeared in the Dan Emperor's sight. Looking at Zarshian's fire-breathing dragon, the Dan Emperor also showed a surprised expression on his face. A completely different evolution from Gigantamax. Although Charizard X's size is only the size of a palm compared to the Gigantamax Charizard, however, Emperor Dan could sense that the powerful aura emanating from the fire-breathing Dragon X was even several times more powerful than the Gigantamax fire-breathing dragon. When the Gigantamax Charizard saw Charizard X, his expression became serious, and a trace of fear flashed in his eyes. Charizard, use Supergiant Inferno to extinguish the flames. Alchemy took a deep breath, calmed himself down, and ordered the fire-breathing giant dragon. The Gigantamax Charizard roared, with a strong fighting spirit burning in his eyes, and scorching flames erupted from his entire body, then burned half of the sky red. As the flames erupted, the entire battlefield was filled with a thick, hot hell-like flame. Zarshian's eyes flashed, and he also said, Charizard, flame charge. Charizard X roared, and blue fireworks burned all over its body, turning into a fireball burning with blue fireworks, heading towards the pole. The giant fire-breathing dragon charged away. In an instant, two fire-breathing dragons with huge size differences collided fiercely. Although Flare Charge will cause a lot of rebound damage to Charizard, the opposite Dynamax Charizard will also suffer. After a fierce confrontation, both sides were injured, and their blood volume dropped a lot. But overall, Charizard X is much stronger. After all, the level is there, and Charizard's 6 attributes have been greatly improved after Mega Evolution, which is twice that of Dynamax Charizard. Therefore, under Charizard X's attack, the Dynamax Charizard's HP dropped at a speed visible to the naked eye. Soon, both sides released their ultimate moves. On the battlefield, a huge, earth-shaking explosion erupted. In the end, Dynamax Charizard fell onto the battlefield and lost its ability to fight. The moment it fell, the Dynamax Charizard also returned to its original state. It's so strong. We lost. Emperor Dan looked at the fallen Charizard and showed a wry smile. I originally thought that by relying on Dynamax, I should be able to defeat Zarshian once. Unexpectedly, the opponent also had a trump card, a completely different evolution method from Dynamax. To be honest, although Emperor Dan was defeated, he didn't feel too disappointed in his heart. He put away the fire-breathing dragon and came to Zarshian. Kai, you are very strong. I will definitely defeat you next time. When Zarshian heard this, he nodded with a smile and said, okay, I'll wait. It will start from what I got from the tower. I will give it to you. While saying that, Emperor Dan took out an old blue bell and handed it to Zarshian. It is said that this is something left behind by the legendary Pokémon, Lugia, the god of the sea. I don't know what its specific function is. Ding. Congratulations to the player for obtaining the special accessory, Broken Sea Sound Bell. Bell can emit meditation. A very ancient bell with a soothing sound. 100 times bonus. Obtain the special accessory, Broken Sea Sound Bell, and upgrade it to Sea Sound Bell. The bell that can emit a soothing sound has a certain chance of summoning the legendary Pokémon, Lugia. Zarshian was surprised. He didn't expect that the reward from the battle tower would be a sea bell. In this case, he would be able to conquer Lugia soon. Thinking of this, Zarshian also felt a touch of joy in his heart. By the way, this Gigantamax bracelet is a special product of our Galar region. It contains special energy and can make Pokémon's Gigantamax once. I'll give it to you right now too, the Alchemist Emperor said again. He took out a giant bracelet and handed it to Zarshian. Ding. Congratulations to the player for obtaining the special accessory, Gigantamax bracelet. You can have a chance to make the Pokémon go Dynamax. 100 times bonus. The special accessory, Gigantamax bracelet, is upgraded to Infinite Gigantamax bracelet, which can make Pokémons go Gigantamax an unlimited number of times. Zarshian also had a smile on his face. He didn't expect the harvest to be so rich. This Dan Emperor is really a good person. Thank you. Zarshian thanked him. Then, the two of them bragged for a while, and Zarshian said goodbye to Dan Emperor. Next, Zarshian plans to go to Kibeo Valley to see if he can find anything special. Chapter 158 Ascana Ruins, the Unknown Totem Group. Soon after, Zarshian arrived at Kibeo Valley. To be honest, Kibeo Valley is quite large, with a long and winding road leading to the end of the valley. On both sides of the valley live rock type and ground type Pokémon, with the most common being Little Fist Stone, Karakura, Little Elephant, etc. Of course, there will occasionally be some chickens and armored birds flying in the sky. Zacian glanced at it, not thinking of subduing it, and walked straight towards a scanner lock at the end. A scanner lock is an altar-like building. On the altar are 7 or 8 stones carved with mysterious runes. Zacian remembered that in the game Pokémon, it seemed that these stones needed to be placed in specific locations to unlock the secrets of the Ascana ruins. Thinking of this, Zacian searched around the altar. He then found 7 or 8 sunken locations on the ground of the altar. Could it be that this is where those stones are placed? Zacian thought. He planned to give it a try to see if it was as he suspected. Then, he pushed the stones into the recessed position on the ground. Suddenly, a clicking sound could be heard from the altar, as if some mechanism was opening. Shortly after, a stone platform suddenly rose in the center of the altar, and a stone box was placed on the stone platform, as expected. Zacian's eyes flashed. He walked over to the stone box and opened it. Inside was an inscription engraved with mysterious words, emanating a faint light. Zacian tried to pick it up, but failed. A reminder appeared before his eyes. Ding. You cannot get the mysterious stone tablet before completing the conditions. You cannot pick it up. Zacian frowned and checked, but found nothing special. Then, Zacian walked around again and found nothing. That's the only thing. Zacian was also a little speechless. He originally thought that something special would appear, but he didn't expect that only an unmovable stone tablet would appear. Shaking his head helplessly, Zacian left the altar and continued moving forward, heading towards the Ascana ruins. Soon, Zacian arrived at the Ascana ruins. The Ascana ruins is a long abandoned stone building complex with a total of 7 stone chambers. From east to west, the 7 stone chambers are Isle Stone Chamber, Nazan Stone Chamber, Yauj Stone Chamber, Aliboka Stone Chamber, Kedau Stone Chamber, Anu Stone Chamber, and Olafu Stone Chamber. Zacian thought about it and decided to enter the first stone chamber, the L Stone Chamber, to take a look. Entering the dark hallway, what appeared in front of Zacian's eyes were pieces of legendary murals recording ancient deeds. Zacian looked at it and found nothing special. He shook his head helplessly. Just as Zacian was preparing to go to the next stone room, a ray of light suddenly appeared on the mural. Immediately afterwards, a Pokémon with large eyes that looked like ancient writing appeared in front of Zacian. When Zacian saw this Pokémon, he was stunned for a moment. Unknown totem? According to the Pokémon settings, the unknown totem is like an ancient writing, with 28 different shapes, corresponding to 26 kinds of letters, question marks, and exclamation marks. It is said that the body is so thin that it can be embedded in the wall. Moreover, they have 28 different abilities. When a large number of unknown totems of different shapes appear, incredible power will be generated. Of course, although this is true, no one knows what will happen. Moreover, Zacian only remembered that the scenes related to the unknown totem in the previous life animation seemed to be 2-stage versions. In the Emperor of the Crystal Tower, the unknown totem created a ghost flame emperor, which then lost control of its power and was eventually suffocated by the ghost flame emperor. In the decisive battle in the Tower of Time and Space, Dialga vs Palkia vs Darkrai, when Palkia and Dialga fought in the Rift of Time and Space, they alerted the unknown totem living here. In this way, Pokémons like unknown totems are actually relatively mysterious and rare. Although Zacian doesn't know what role they will play in this game, he can simply conquer them. Moreover, the unknown totem that appeared in front of Zacian was the letter A. Zacian directly released Pikachu and introduced the letter A into the battle. After entering the battle, Zacian directly threw out the high-level ball. The unknown totem A was absorbed by the high-level ball and began to fight violently. Soon, the high-level ball was released. After Zacian threw out 4 or 5 high-level balls again, he finally subdued the unknown totem A. Ding. Congratulations to the player for conquering the unknown totem A. Ding. Since the Pokémons the player is carrying are full, the unknown A totem has been automatically transferred back to the PC. Level balls, just throw them. Moreover, if Pikachu really launches an attack, Zacian is afraid that this position totem will be destroyed in seconds. After conquering the unknown A totem, the mural in front of Zacian suddenly emitted light, and then another unknown A totem appeared in front of him. What's going on? Zacian was also stunned for a moment. Just as he was stunned, another unknown A totem emerged from the mural. I met the tribe of the unknown A totem. Zacian did not conquer the unknown totems that appeared next, but defeated them one by one. After all, it is enough to conquer a single unknown A totem of an unknown shape. After Zacian defeated the 23 unknown A totems, the unknown A totem that appeared in front of him finally did not have the shape of not only the letter A, but the shape of the letter B. After spending several high-level balls again, Zacian finally subdued the unknown totem B. Later, Zacian waited again for the upgrade of the unknown totem, but what surprised him was that in this stone room, it seemed that only the letters A and B were upgraded, and other unknown totems did not appear. There should be other forms of unknown totems in other stone chambers. Then, Zacian walked out of the first stone chamber and entered the second stone chamber. Sure enough, as Zacian guessed, 5 forms of unknown totems appeared in the second stone chamber. The letters C, D, H, U, and O. After subduing these 5 forms of unknown totems, Zacian came to the third stone chamber. In the third stone chamber, there are 4 forms of position totems, the letters N, S, I, and E. The fourth stone chamber contains the letters P, J, L, R, and Q. The fifth stone chamber contains the letters Y, G, T, F, and K. The sixth stone chamber is the letters V, W, X, M, B. The seventh stone chamber is the letters Z and the exclamation mark. However, what Zacian didn't expect to understand was that after waiting for a long time for the unknown totem to upgrade in the ruins, there was still no unknown totem in the latest form appear. This made him speechless. Moreover, through the upgrading process, all 6 Pokémons he was carrying were upgraded to level 86. Later, Zacian remembered that the mysterious stone tablet on the altar should be related to the unknown totem, right? After leaving the Ascana ruins, Zacian returned to the altar. At this moment, the stone tablet in the stone box on the altar could finally be accessed. Ding. Congratulations to the player for obtaining the special plot prop, unknown totem inscription. Inject 28 forms of unknown totems into the stone tablet, and amazing things will happen. Special plot props, you can't get them, 100 times greater benefit. After seeing this message, Zacian showed a surprised expression on his face. Special plot props. Afterwards, Zacian put unknown totems into the equipment one by one, and poured them into the inscriptions one by one. The corresponding letters of the unknown totem also appeared on the inscription, but one last question mark was still missing. In the end, Zacian could only put this unknown totem inscription, which had no known purpose, into his backpack. At the same time, a reminder suddenly appeared in front of Zacian's eyes. Ding. Congratulations to player Kai for completing the hidden quest and exploring the 7 islands. The reward is 50,000 character experience points and 50,000 reputation points, 100 times both blessing, 5 million character experience points, and 5 million reputation points. This sudden reminder also surprised Zacian. Is there really a hidden quest? After obtaining the character experience points, Zacian's character level greatly improved again, directly from level 86 before to level 95. Only the last 5 levels are left before reaching level 100. It can be said that he is now the player with the highest character level in the entire server. Chapter 159 The sound of sea bells summons the sea god. After completing this task in the summer, a server-wide announcement also appeared on many players' message boards. Ding. Server-wide announcement. Player, Red, has completed the task of exploring the 7 islands, and has unlocked the new map, 7 Islands. Players can find the entrance to 7 Islands in the teleport menu of the Pokémon phone, and spend 10,000 Pokémon coins and you will be able to enter the 7 Islands area to explore. As soon as this server-wide announcement came out, all players were shocked. I said, during this period, why didn't I hear any news about the Red God? I didn't expect that he would go explore a new map. 7 Islands is the same as Philly area? By the way, is this the 7 Islands that the old man on Novice Village Island is talking about? I have a ticket to the 7 Islands, but I don't know where to take the boat. I'm envious. Look what kind of mission they took on, and what kind of mission we did. What a difference. Unlocking a new map should be considered an epic task, right? While many players were talking, Zarshan had already returned to his base. Speaking of which, the plot on the 7 Islands took a long time this time, at least much longer than when exploring the Philly region. Zarshan organized his backpack. Speaking of which, carrying these special accessories with him caused Zarshan's backpack space to shrink by a lot. 30 slots was simply not enough. However, it's not like there isn't a solution. Now, with the update of the game version, there is a VIP channel in the server market on Genie Mobile, which sells some VIP accessories. Of course, they are not accessories related to Pokémons, but some fancy costumes, backpack extensions, and so on. These accessories are also quite expensive. Simply expanding the backpack capacity for a month costs 1 million Pokémon coins. Zarshan thought about it, and first put some unused accessories up for sale on the global server market. Surfing technique, purity bead, and other resources and accessories that Zarshan has used have been put on the full server market. In addition, Zarshan also adjusted the selling price based on the market price. These accessories had just entered the global market and were quickly sold out. In total, these accessories were sold for a total of about 100 million Pokémon coins on Zarshan. Looking at the number of countless zeros on the personal information, Zarshan also showed a smile on his face. Then, he took out 50 million Pokémon coins and exchanged them for real currency, while the remaining Pokémon coins were put into his personal account for emergencies. By the way, he also opened a backpack expansion for about a year. The backpack expansion slots are 70 slots. In total, his backpack space has 100 slots. In this case, it is enough to hold a few things. Not only that, Zarshan also opened the function of not dropping after death. After all, he will have more and more things in his backpack in the future. If you accidentally hang it up and lose all your things, you will cry yourself to death. After doing this, Zarshan went to the super intelligent egg hatching device to check the egg hatching records and found that a lot of Pokémon eggs had been hatched. Later, Zarshan opened the PC function and checked the information of the newborn Pokémons. Damn, 6 Pokémons with all qualifications have finally been born. Yukara, Fire Chicken, Screw Gopher, Bulbasaur, Eevee, Magikarp. Zarshan released all the Pokémons with all qualifications. He plans to sell the remaining Pokémons on the server market. After all, his goal is to cultivate qualified Pokémons. Of course, some special shiny Pokémons will still be kept in the summer. After clearing the Pokémons on the PC, another 60 million was received in Zarshan's personal account. For so long, Zarshan PC has accumulated more than 100 newborn Pokémons, and different prices are set according to the different qualifications of each Pokémon. Of course, Zarshan didn't forget to upgrade the Pokémon in the breeding pastures. All of them were replaced by Pokémon with higher breeding qualifications. It was impossible to sell the variety monsters. After finishing these things, Zarshan came to the sea of flowers outside the base and took out the sea sound bell in his backpack. He picked a spot, built a protruding spot, then hung the sea bell on it and started shaking it. Dingle bell. Dingle bell. The bell made a crisp sound under the shaking of summer, forming an invisible sound wave, spreading in all directions. Spreading. Shaking the sea bell can produce. There is a certain chance of summoning the legendary Pokémon, the god of the sea, Lugia. Zarshan shook for a long time, but did not find any special Pokémon. But he was in no hurry, and continued to ring the sea bell. In an unknown ocean terrain, a deep water area, a Pokémon sleeping at the bottom of the sea seemed to hear something, as if a voice was calling to it. Soon, the Pokémon woke up from its deep sleep. It opened its eyes with a blue light, and looked around blankly. Jingling bells at this moment, a faint intermittent crisp sound of bells came from a distant place and reached its ears. Who is calling me? This mysterious Pokémon had a puzzled expression on its face. After thinking about it, it decided to go to the place where the bell came from to take a look. Then, the Pokémon stretched its body, which had not moved for a long time, and slipped under the sea, moving towards the place where the bell rang. Zacian has been ringing the sea bell. He has been keeping watch near the flower sea for 2 days, but he still hasn't seen Lugia. This left him speechless. What's the situation? Am I not a boss? Zacian thought helplessly. After all, this sea bell only has a certain chance of summoning Lugia. He stayed here for 2 days and all the newly born Pokémon had reached level 50. During these 2 days, while Zacian was shaking the bell, he changed the Pokémon in the team and put the Pokémon born with all the qualifications into the team to level up. Pikachu, Frozen Bird, Minus, Charizard, Green Caterpillar and Biting Land Shark were all upgraded to level 95 by him and then thrown into the PC. His current team is Dragon-Headed Gopher, Bulbasaur, Gyarados, Big Rock Snake, Shakira and Tyrannosaurus, Bloodwing Wyvern. After clearing out the Pokémon near the Flower Sea, Zacian continued to ring the sea bell and ignored it. Ringing the sea bell once will last for about 2 hours. Therefore, during the remaining time, Zacian simply took the opportunity to level up. At this time, the Pokémon in the Flower Sea were refreshed again. Zacian saw a rat running not far away, smiled lightly, and planned to convert it into experience points. However, at this moment, a server-wide announcement appeared in front of all the players. Ding. Server-wide announcement, a legendary Pokémon has appeared in the Flower Sea. Seeing this announcement, all the players were stunned for a moment, and then became restless. Damn, the legendary Pokémon appears again, in the Flower Sea terrain? By the way, who has the coordinates of the Flower Sea terrain? I just left the Flower Sea ground soon. When Zacian saw this announcement, he was also a little surprised. Lugia appears? Zacian quickly looked around, searching for Lugia's figure. Soon after, Zacian finally found a Pokémon that was emitting a purple light beside a small hill. However, this Pokémon was not the Lugia he imagined. This Pokémon has light green streaked hair that looks like a musical bar. Its slender arms are connected to its oval palms, forming the shape of a crown. Its eyes with no visible pupils are like whole notes. It has a gemstone on its forehead and a black outlook similar to a treble clef. These two treble clef-like structures are stacked together to form a structure similar to the wireless microphone commonly used by singers. This elf is Melota. Melota? Zacian also did not expect that, after ringing the sea bell for 2 days, what appeared was not Lugia, but a Melota. Chapter 160. Get to the Mythical Beast Division. Zacian had some surprises. It should be said that this Melota is naturally generated and is not summoned by the sound of the sea bells. It's better to subdue this Melota now. Zacian's eyes flashed and fell on the lovely Melota. This Melota's level is level 50. Zacian released Shakira and introduced Melota into the battle. He then threw the Master Ball directly. The Master Ball drew a beautiful arc in the air and hit Melota accurately. Melota was unable to resist and was instantly absorbed by the Master Ball. Buzz, 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 buzz. After shaking for a moment, the Master Ball finally stopped and a message appeared in front of Zacian. Ding. Congratulations to the player for conquering the legendary Pokémon Melota with a 100-fold benefit. All 6 ratings of Melota have been upgraded to gold. Ding. The Pokémon the player is carrying are full and have been automatically transferred back to the PC. When Zacian saw this, a smile appeared on his face. Melota is a relatively good 3rd level god. Although it is only level 50, its strength is much stronger than Manaphy and the like. After all, if Melota learns the ancient song, it will change into another form, the dancer form. Zacian then checked Melota's information on the Pokémon's phone. Melota level 50 gender, non-attributes, normal, super features, shine and hidden features, non-body type, small life rating, gold attack rating, gold defense rating, gold special attack rating, gold special defense rating, gold speed rating, gold comprehensive combat power. 340 intimacy. 50 skills, lightning LV2, rotation chant LV3, telekinesis LV2, singing LV7, rock dance LV2, acrobatics LV3, ghost light LV4, echo LV2, quick return LV2, awakening slap LV5 accessories. Although Umurigita is a normal and super Pokemon, after changing into a dancer form, its attributes will change to normal and fighting types. After closing the information panel, Zacian began to level up again in the Sea of Flowers. During this period, the sound of the sea bell stopped once, and Zacian continued to shake it. As time went by, Zacian finally raised all 6 Pokémon in his body to level 70. Although he is now carrying second tier Pokémon, his high tier Pokémon are among the best on the Pokémon tier list. During the time he was exploring the 7 Islands plot, the player's level improved relatively quickly. For example, the level of the Pokémon at the top of the ranking list has reached level 65 and its rank is still at the championship level. Speaking of which, Zacian has never improved his rank since the last time he participated in the fishing competition. During the following period of time, it was a good time to improve his rank level. After all, he was also the player with the highest character level in the server, but his rank was only 1 star for advanced trainer. This is a bit unreasonable. Just as he was leveling up in the summer, another server-wide announcement appeared on many players' message boards. Ding. Server-wide announcement, a legendary Pokémon has appeared in the Sea of Flowers. ? After seeing this news, everyone was stunned. What's going on? Why has another legendary Pokémon appeared? And it's still in the Sea of Flowers. What? In the Sea of Flowers again? I just teleported away from the Sea of Flowers. Crying. What happened to this legendary Pokémon? What kind of upgrade mechanism is this? I was so drunk that I appeared in the Sea of Flowers again. I had been squatting there for a long time, but it was not legendary. The Pokémon appeared. When I left, it appeared. What the heck? When Zacian saw this announcement, there was a hint of surprise on his face. In the Sea of Flowers again. Could it be Lugia this time? Zacian returned to the place where the sea bells were placed, and it was just as he had guessed. At this moment, a purple pillar of light rose into the sky in the air, and a huge bird Pokémon hovered in the air. There was a terrifying coercion coming from it, its eyes shining with a light blue light, and it had an infinite majesty, as if it were a god. It was Lugia who was summoned by the sound of the sea bell. Divine beasts like Lugia are generally at level 70. Seeing this, Zacian smiled lightly. The sound of the sea bells really had an effect. Of course, after Lugia appeared, the sea bell, the transparent seashell, shattered. This special accessory can only be used once. Zacian did not hesitate, and directly released the Tyrannosaurus, luring Lugia into the battle. As soon as he entered the battle, Zacian took out the Master Ball from his backpack and threw it towards Lugia. Lugia looked at the human in front of him in confusion, not knowing what was being thrown at him. He felt the call of the sea bells and ran from far away. Unexpectedly, he was engaged in a fight. The Master Ball accurately hit Lugia, and his body was sucked in and fell to the ground. Buzz, 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 buzz. After the Master Ball shook for a while, Lugia was finally subdued by Zacian. Ding. Congratulations to the player for conquering the legendary Pokémon Lugia. With a 100-fold benefit, all 6 of Lugia's qualifications have been upgraded to gold. Ding. Since the Pokémon the player was carrying is full, Lugia has been automatically transferred back to the PC. After conquering Lugia, Zacian quickly opened the Pokémon's phone to check Lugia's information. Lugia level 70, gender, none attributes, superpower, flying features, sense of oppression, hidden features, multiple scales, body type, huge life rating, gold attack rating, gold defense rating, gold special attack rating, gold defense rating, gold special defense rating, gold speed rating, gold comprehensive combat power. 450 intimacy. 50 skills. Flying LV3, Weather Ball LV5, Wind LV2, Dragon Dive LV4, Supernatural Power LV5, Rainmaking LV4, Water Cannon LV5, Cyclone Attack LV6, Punishment LV3, Original Strength LV5, Mysterious Guardian LV2 items carried, none. This should be regarded as the first level 1 god conquered by Zacian. There are 4 types of legendary Pokémon. One is the 3rd level god, which is a level 50 mythical beast such as Melota, Manaphy, the 3 sacred mushrooms, and Keldea. The 2nd level gods are legendary Pokémon such as Celebi, the 3 sacred birds, the 3 sacred beasts, the 3 sword saints, and the 3 sacred pillars. The 1st level gods include Lugia, the Phoenix King, the 3 ancient gods of illusion, Deoxys and Regichkas, etc. The super beasts are Arceus and its 3 pawns, the 3 dragons of the Tao, the phantom gods of other worlds, Mewtwo and Mew, etc. Of course, starting from the 2nd level gods, the levels of these beasts are all around level 70 in the game. After Zacian conquered Lugia, the next step was to upgrade its rank. The Novice Village Championship tournament is about to begin, and there will definitely be a lot of strong players by then. The reason why Zacian was able to win the championship at the fishing conference was, on the one hand, his level advantage, and on the other, his Pokémon ratings. The Novice Village Championship tournament uses a 6 vs 6 format, so it must be much more valuable than the fishing conference. Only by choosing the right team can you get a better ranking in the championship. Speaking of which, your Sandstorm team has basically already been formed, and all that's left is to raise the levels of all these Pokémons. By the way, we'll form other teams, such as the Rainy Day team, the Space team, etc. After all, it's impossible for one team to rule the world. You need to prepare several more teams. Chapter 161 Dr. Oak's mission, the Ghost Tower in the Swamp. According to the above idea, since we have to form teams like Rainy Day team, Space team, and Sunny Day team, then the position of meteorologist is indispensable. In the Rainy Day team, Zacian remembered that the most popular Pokémon in his previous life was the big-beaked owl. In addition, Zacian also remembered the most basic team, Big-mouthed owl, Spiny Dragon King, Giant Pinsir Mantis, Menace, Swampert, and Pikachu. The essence of the Rainy Day team lies in its flexibility and great burst. The big-beaked owl can serve as a weather hand and a physical shield. The Spiny Dragon King serves as a special attacker and has a wider attack area. It serves as a physical attack outlet for the harvest. For Swampert, you can scatter spikes to reflect that in-man menus has great resilience. The reason why Pikachu is put in is because Pikachu is relatively strong. After all, it is its starting spirit, so there must always be a place for it. There are other more reasonable teams, but Big Build Gull, Thorn King, and Swampert are easier to find. As for Team Sun as weather player, the most important one is Cold Turtle with the title of Groudon Jr., whose characteristic Sun is an indispensable factor. Of course, at the moment, these Pokémon Zacian does not have. Therefore, after thinking about it, Zacian planned to conquer them first. The swamp monsters have a chance to renew themselves in the swamp terrain. Thinking of this, Zacian took out the Pokémon's phone and spent 500 Pokémon coins to teleport to the swamp terrain. After arriving at the swamp terrain, Zacian found a random direction, released the Tyrannosaurus, and flew into the depths of the swamp terrain. After entering the depths of the swamp terrain, Zacian found a place and landed. Since I caught Pokémons in the swamp terrain in the last fishing competition, I have not visited the swamp terrain carefully so far this summer. Speaking of which, in the swamp terrain, there is a chance that ghost towers will appear, which are places dedicated to spawning ghost Pokémon. Crystal lanterns, dream monsters, and ghost stones can be spawned in the ghost tower. Defeat them to obtain demon tears or torches and dark stone fragments. Of course, if you defeat a certain number of Pokémon, there is also a chance that the charming eye boss will appear. Zacian walked through the swamp while observing the Pokémon that appeared around him. In fact, there are quite a few types of Pokémon in the swamp, although the most common ones are probably the Carp King and Lobster Soldier in the water. On land, there are hairballs, single egg balls, etc. and occasionally there are pincer tail scorpions and Dragon King scorpions. Zacian looked at it and thought that when these Pokémon could be used in the future, he would take a sample first. Later, Zacian released the Pokémon and introduced a single egg ball into the battle. After expending several high-level egg balls, Zacian finally conquered this single egg ball. Ding. Congratulations to the player for conquering the egg ball. Because the Pokémons the player is carrying are full, the egg ball has been automatically transferred to the PC. Cheyenne set his sights on the Scorpion Dragon King again. Not long after, the Scorpion Dragon King was also subdued by Zacian. However, right after he conquered the Scorpion Dragon King, a reminder suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Ding. Congratulations to the player for conquering 30 types of Pokémons, triggering the hidden quest, Drive Omi's lifelong wish. Task tip, players must use the National Illustrated Encyclopedia to collect all the information about the Pokémons and give the illustration to Omi Doctor. Seeing this message, Zacian was stunned for a moment. He remembered that, when he was on the 7 islands, the 4 Heavenly Kings gave him an illustration. He originally thought it was just a certificate as an Alliance trainer, but he didn't expect that it would now trigger a hidden quest. This actually makes Zacian a little surprised. Later, Zacian took out the National Illustrated Encyclopedia, stored in the backpack, looked at it, and found that a progress bar appeared on it. And his current progress is 30. Zacian frowned when he saw this progress. He had encountered some Pokémons in the National Illustrated Encyclopedia. Although they were listed in the National Illustrated Encyclopedia, there was no information on them, and they were not included in the progress bar. Does it mean that only Pokémons that have been conquered can display information? All the information about Pokémons displayed in the illustrated book exists on his PC. Thinking of this, Zacian already had some ideas in mind. Then, he set his sights on a furball not far away. It didn't take him long to conquer the furball. The progress in the National Pictorial Encyclopedia has become 31. Seeing this situation, Zacian secretly thought, indeed. However, he also thought that there are probably almost 900 types of Pokémon, and if all of them are to be conquered, he doesn't know how long it will take. Although most of the Pokémon are relatively easy to collect, the most important ones are the legendary ones. This mission is really. Zacian shook his head helplessly. Since this task was triggered, it was naturally completed. Perhaps, after collecting all the information about the Pokémon, Dr. Omu will receive some generous rewards. Let's start with the swampy ground. So, Zacian began to search around. Ladder, stinky mud, locust soldier, mosquito tadpole, devouring turtle, etc. Zacian spent a lot of time squatting in the swampy ground, but he was only able to catch almost 10 types of Pokémon. Basically, he had already caught all the ones that needed to be caught. It's time to change places. Zacian looked at the renewed Pokémon around him. He had basically conquered them and continued on to the next place. As he went deeper and deeper into the swampy terrain, Zacian's progress in the National Illustrated book also reached 50. Zacian climbed up a swampy hill, and what appeared in front of him was a small tower made of round stones about 4 stories high. Is this a ghost tower? When Zacian saw this ghost tower, a look of surprise appeared on his face. He didn't expect to see a ghost tower. Not only that, Zacian can also clearly hear the sound of ghosts crying and howling coming from the ghost tower. On the top floor of the ghost tower, there is a ghost stone, which is laughing loudly at this moment. That eerie sound came out, causing the surrounding Pokémon to tremble in fear. Zacian was also speechless. There seems to be something wrong with this ghost painting style. However, ghost type Pokémon like Ghost Stone can be subdued. After Ghost Stone evolves into Jenga, it can Mega Evolve, and can be regarded as a powerful ghost type Pokémon. Then, Zacian walked towards the ghost tower under the hill. Surrounding the ghost tower was a dense fog that made the entire line of sight somewhat blurry. Not long after, Zacian arrived at the outskirts of the ghost tower. However, just as he was about to enter the ghost tower, a message appeared in front of him. Ding. You are being attacked by Pokémons. Immediately afterward, Zacian's health bar was reduced by a third. What's going on? Zacian frowned, quickly took a step back, and walked out of the range of the ghost tower. After Zacian walked out of the ghost tower, a Pokémon also appeared before Zacian's eyes. It's a level 35 dream monster. It's a bit wacky, and the writing is a bit rough. Chapter 162. The boss trapped in the wall. The ultimate cave appears. Good boy, I didn't want to do anything to you, but you forced me to do it yourself. Zacian's eyes fell on the dream monster. A flash of light flashed in his eyes, and then Bagheera was released. After Bagheera appeared, a sandstorm arose around the entire ghost tower, causing the dense fog around it to dissipate a lot. Exposed to the sandstorm, Dream Demon's little face suddenly showed a look of fear. Seeing this, Zacian simply smiled coldly, and then directly threw the high-level ball out. After exploding several high-level balls, Zacian finally subdued this dream monster. Later, Zacian entered the ghost tower again. Of course, he didn't take Bagheera back, but instead let him follow him. With Bagheera present, if he is attacked again, he will have time to deal with it. After entering the ghost tower, what appeared in front of him was a level 45 Crystal Lantern Fire Spirit. The Crystal Lantern Fire Spirit might actually be the main force in Sunny Sky's team. Zacian did not hesitate, and directly asked Bagheera to introduce the Crystal Lantern Fire Spirit into the battle. Afterwards, Zacian also spent 4 high-level balls to subdue this Crystal Lantern Fire Spirit. After subduing the Crystal Lantern Fire Spirit, Zacian continued walking inwards. The location he is currently at is the first floor of the ghost tower, and 10 meters in front of him is a staircase leading to the second floor. However, on the stairs, there were 2 dream monsters in their 40s. Zacian has already subdued a dream monster, so he does not plan to subdue it any further. Later, Zacian directly asked Bagheera to do something to them. With a move of Evil Wave, the 2 dream monsters were instantly killed by Zacian's Bagheera. Ding. Obtain dropped items. Ender Bead X1. Darkstone Fragment X1. 100 times the benefits. Obtain dropped items. Ender Bead X100. Darkstone Fragment X100. After defeating these 2 dream monsters, Zacian walked towards the second floor. The second floor has the same area as the first floor, but the refreshed Pokémons on the second floor are Crystal Lantern Spirits, a total of 5. Zacian did not hesitate, and directly asked Bagheera to take action. Soon after, Bagheera defeated all 5 Crystal Lantern Spirits on the second floor. Ding. Obtain dropped items. Devil's Tears X1. Torch X1. You can obtain Devil's Tears X100 and Torch X100. A series of prompts appeared in front of Zacian's eyes. Later, Zacian was about to enter the third floor, but found that there was no staircase leading to the third floor. He looked at the second floor, and found that there was a stone protruding from the broken wall, which was uneven, and formed a broken wall like a staircase. Zacian came to the broken wall, jumped onto the stone, and entered the third floor. The Pokémons on the third level are still mainly Crystal Lantern Spirits, but there is also a ghost stone nailed to the wall. After defeating those Crystal Lantern Fire Spirits, Zacian came to the ghost stone, but was shocked to find that he couldn't bring it into battle. Since the ghost tower is a special building, players cannot destroy or dismantle the ghost tower. After trying for a long time without success, Zacian had no choice but to give up. Later, Zacian found the staircase leading to the 4th floor on the 3rd floor. Upon reaching the 4th floor, 6 ghost stones appeared in front of Zacian. 1 ghost stone was subdued by Zacian and the rest were killed by Bagheera. After Zacian cleaned up all the ghost Pokémon in the ghost tower, the Pokémon refreshed again. It refreshed so quickly. Zacian raised his eyebrows and once again cleaned up the Pokémon in the ghost tower from top to bottom. And he also obtained 20 sets of Darkstone Fragments. These Darkstone Fragments can be combined into a Shadow Suit, which is more than enough. Looking at the Darkstone Fragments in his backpack, Zacian also showed a smile. Now the ghost tower has entered a pause period to refresh the Pokémon. Zacian simply took this opportunity and walked outside the ghost tower. After cutting down an oak tree beside the ghost tower, Zacian synthesized a workbench and placed it on the ground. After synthesizing all the Darkstone Fragments into Darkstone, Zacian made a set of Shadow Suits. In addition to increasing defense, the Shadow Suit can also increase jumping ability and stealth function by 50%. After the Shadow Suit was synthesized in the summer, the Pokémon in the ghost tower were refreshed again. Zacian put on the Shadow Suit and entered the ghost tower again. At this time, the sky had darkened a little, and it was dusk. The view in the ghost tower also became dark and hazy, but fortunately, some torches fell when the crystal lanterns were used, and were now used for lighting. After clearing the ghost Pokémon in the ghost tower from top to bottom again, Zacian's backpack was almost full. Zacian thought about it, and threw away some torches, devil's tears, and ender beads, leaving some behind. Not long after, the Pokémon in the ghost tower were refreshed again. However, this time, a server-wide announcement appeared in front of Zacian. Ding. Server-wide announcement, a Pokémon boss has appeared in the swamp. Many players also saw this news, but no one was surprised, because the Pokémon boss update announcement is now very common news. When this news appeared, a sharp whistling sound suddenly came from the ghost tower, as if something was roaring. Boss. Zacian's eyes flashed, and he walked towards the top of the ghost tower. Upon reaching the 4th floor, what caught Zacian's attention was a super charming iBoss. The super evolved ecstasy iBoss is extremely large, and the ruby in it occupies half of the entire 4th floor. Even, its head was trapped on the 4th floor. Looking at the strange posture of this super charming iBoss, Zacian was also a little speechless. Zacian released Bangala, and entered the battle. Because the Super Soul iBoss was trapped, it could not move at all, and could not attack Bangala. Therefore, under the consumption of Bangala's evil fluctuations, the level of the super charming iBoss is 20 levels higher than that of Bangala. But it soon fell. To be honest, this was the first time Zacian defeated a Mega Pokémon boss with a single Pokémon. It takes a lot of luck though. I can only blame this evil iBoss for being so unlucky that he got stuck. Ding. Congratulations to the player for defeating the super enchanting iBoss and obtaining the dropped items, Spirit World Cloth X1, Magic Candy X1, Enchanting Eye Mega Stone X1, and Power Bracelet X1, times the income blessing. Obtain the dropped items, Spirit World Cloth X100, Magic Candy X100, Enchanting Eye Mega Stone X100, Power Bracelet X100. After defeating the enchanting iBoss, Zacian decided to leave after seeing that there were no more rare things in the ghost tower. However, just as he left the ghost tower, a server-wide announcement appeared on all players' message boards again. Ding. Server-wide announcement, an ultimate cave has appeared in the swampy ground. When all the players saw this news, they were stunned. The ultimate hole? Then, everyone in the chat channel went crazy. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 163. In the Ultimate World, the boss appears again. The Ultimate Cave? What is that? Could it be that the Ultimate Cave is also a plot map? The Ultimate Cave should be a passage to other areas, right? There is no official explanation. The Ultimate Cave is here. Has the swampy terrain appeared? Let's take a look. Maybe with luck we can find the Ultimate Cave. When many players were talking about the Ultimate Cave, Zacian had already left the ghost tower. In the sky above the swamp area not far away, a red vortex appeared, as if a hole had been opened in the sky. Is that the Ultimate Cave? Zacian's eyes flashed, and he secretly thought in his heart. Then, Zacian released the Tyrannosaurus, sat on the Tyrannosaurus's back, and flew towards the red whirlpool. Soon, Zacian arrived at the outer edge of the red vortex. Looking inside the red vortex, no edges can be seen with the naked eye, just like a bottomless pit. After hesitating for a moment, Zacian still planned to go in and take a look. Immediately, Zacian rode on the back of the Tyrannosaurus and drilled into the Ultimate Cave. After entering the Ultimate Cave, Zacian only felt darkness in front of his eyes, and his body seemed to have passed through a transparent film. The endless darkness only remained for a moment, and then Zacian's eyes gradually became brighter. Then, Zacian appeared in a strange land. This land has lush oak forests, the sound of running water, and the calls of Pokémon. When Zacian arrived at the Supreme World, the Tyrannosaurus was automatically returned to the Pokémon Ball. This is the Supreme World? Zacian looked at the scene in front of him, and was stunned for a moment. The terrain in front of me seems to be no different from the forest terrain, mountain valleys, etc. Moreover, there are still many Pokémon appearing, at least several times more than the average terrain. Not only that, but some rare Pokémon also appeared before Zacian's eyes. However, there is another difference. There seems to be no influence of gravity in the Supreme World. Zacian just jumped a little, and jumped about 7 or 8 meters high. The sky was also completely black, with no sunlight, and it was also filled with a light green mist. It seemed like he was in hell. It's a bit interesting. A look of surprise appeared on Zacian's face, and his figure leaped into the distance between ups and downs. After leaping a few hundred meters, Zacian stopped. Although jumping like this is very fast, it consumes a lot of energy. Zacian stopped to regain his strength. His current location was in an oak forest. At this moment, due to the arrival of summer, a rustling sound could be heard in the forest, as if something was moving, and the sound of flapping wings could also be heard. Immediately afterward, several Bobo flew out of the forest, and flew into the distance. Zacian raised his head and looked back, then continued moving forward. This time he did not jump, but walked normally. When passing through the forest, Zacian also saw many bug Pokémons. Because he took over Dr. Oak's mission, Zacian captured all the Pokémons that were currently unavailable on the PC. Iron-armored pupae, unicorn beetles, iron-shelled pupae, Bobo, Bibi birds, rats, Spearows, sonic butts, etc. are relatively common Pokémon. Of course, this is the spirit that lives on the outskirts of the oak forest. As summer progresses, the variety of Pokémon begins to increase. At the same time, there are not only oak forests, but also birch forests and coniferous forest topographic vegetation. Pokémon possessed by the terrain began to appear little by little. Seeing this situation, Zacian also showed a smile on his face. This ultimate world is really a nice place. In this way, most of the task of collecting illustrations can be completed. As time goes by, Zacian caught more than 100 types of Pokémon in this forest terrain. This includes most of the grass-type Pokémon, followed by bug-type Pokémon, and finally flying-type Pokémon. The progress of the National Illustrated Book has reached 156 types. Zacian took out the National Illustrated Book from his backpack and took a look, and the progress bar above had a new display. In fact, Zacian did not expect that there would be so many types of Pokémons in this supreme world. Of course, besides the legendary Pokémons, all Pokémons, whether ordinary or rare, will be upgraded here. Zacian continued walking forward and soon walked out of the forest terrain and came to a desert terrain. When Zacian first entered the desert terrain, a reminder suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Ding. Server-wide announcement, a Pokémon boss has appeared in the desert terrain. Then, Zacian saw that a Pokémon boss appeared not far in front of him. This is a Super Black Lugia boss, with golden light blooming from top to bottom. After the Mega Evolution, Lugia's original horns curved and extended upwards, and there are 2 pairs of protrusions hanging from its neck. There is also a bone-like object with 3 sharp tooth-like objects at the end, and a bone-like object at the back that extends forward in the shape of a sharp horn. The head of the tail is surrounded by 3 spiked bones, and the triangle at the end of the tail is split in half, and turned into a fork, like a ferocious dog from hell. There was also a hint of surprise on Zacian's face. He didn't expect that in this supreme world, a super evolved boss would also be generated. Without much thought, Zacian walked straight towards the super boss Black Lugia. Later, Zacian released the 6 Pokémon he was carrying with him, including Tyrannosaurus, Bangara, Dragon-Headed Gopher, Bulbasaur, Gyarados, and Bagrock Snake, all of which were level 95. Although the summer Pokémon's level is very high, the super boss Black Lugia in front of me has reached level 115, and its combat power is terrifying. However, if Bulbasaur fights Super Black Lugia, its attributes will be restricted, which will extremely limit its strength. Therefore, Zacian simply let Bulbasaur act as support behind him, using special skills such as Paralyzing Powder and Sleeping Powder to interfere with the boss Super Black Lugia. The main damage dealer is Gyarados. Then, with the full cooperation of the 6 Pokémon, this super boss Black Lugia quickly fell in front of Zacian, turned into a white light, and disappeared. Ding. Congratulations to the player for defeating the super boss Heluga. You will obtain dropped items, Blazing Rod X1, Magic Candy X1, Heluga Megastone X1, and Level Ball X100, Magical Candy X100, Black Megastone X100, Level Ball X100. A level ball actually exploded? Zarshian was also overjoyed when he saw the dropped items from the super black boss. The Pokémons he had conquered before had already used up all the high level balls, and he only had 3 or 4 high level balls left in his backpack. The other Poké Balls are the Master Balls that are 100% sure to be conquered. However, the Master Ball also needs to subdue mythical beasts, so it is naturally impossible for him to use it to subdue these Pokémons. Now, this boss has made a level ball explode, which can be said to have solved his urgent need. After putting away the dropped items, Zarshian also began to conquer the Pokémons he didn't have in the desert. Chapter 164, Ultimate Space Ground Zero, Strange Buildings, Firebugs, Jaw Ants, Pangolin Rats, Fire Foxes, Duck-billed Fire Dragons. Zarshian traveled through the desert terrain and the ultimate world, conquering the Pokémons that were not in the National Illustrated Encyclopedia, one by one. When he reached the end of the desert, he was shocked to find that there was no path ahead. At this moment, Zarshian stood above a cliff, with bottomless darkness below. And in the void not far away, there are still suspended islands, and even in summer one can see the exposed mineral layers beneath the islands. There are actually suspended islands in the ultimate world. In other words, where I'm now is actually a relatively large suspended island. That I can jump so high. Zarshian's eyes flashed, and he suddenly understood. Then, his eyes fell on the huge island in front. I wonder what kind of terrain will appear there. Thinking of this, Zarshian released the Tyrannosaurus and flew towards the huge island in the distance. Between the two huge islands, there is a smaller platform, which is filled with bare rocks and some iron ore, gold, and diamond mines. Zarshian let the Tyrannosaurus land on the platform, then took out the diamond pickaxe from his backpack and started digging. 100-fold bonus, get iron ore x400, gold ore x500, diamond x300. After digging up these ores, Zarshian once again sat on the back of the Tyrannosaurus and flew towards the huge island in front. Not long after, Zarshian arrived at the island and what he saw was a huge grassland. Is it a grassland terrain? Zarshian looked around and, with his hand on his hip, he looked at the Tyrannosaurus. Upon arrival, Pokémon began to appear. With a faint smile, Zarshian walked towards the renewed Pokémon and began his journey to conquer them. At the same time, on a certain island in the overworld, a ray of light suddenly flashed, followed by a vortex of purple energy. A bat-like Pokémon flew out of the whirlpool. Its wings were inlaid with golden moonocks, and the other branch points had cross-shaped stars of the same color hanging on them. Riding on this Pokémon was a purple-haired girl wearing a white aviation suit. This Pokémon is surprisingly the legendary Pokémon Lunera, a legendary spirit from another world. The purple-haired girl looked at the empty world in front of her, a flash of surprise in her eyes, and said to herself, "It's strange, isn't it said that by opening the ultimate cave through Lunera, one can travel to another world? This world seems like there is no sunshine like Metropolis, and it is also filled with that special energy." There was an endless green mist floating in the void, so the purple-haired girl guessed that this place was not what they said that world was. When she entered the ultimate cave, the elders told her that the world she was going to was a world filled with sunlight, and that there were humans like them, as well as some creatures filled with magical power, which they called Pokémon. Although there are Pokémons living in the world in front of her, the purple-haired girl can sense that these Pokémons have a violent aura. It seemed like they were infected by the aura of their world. Furthermore, the purple-haired girl did not see any trace of human presence around her. Therefore, she was absolutely certain that this world was not the world she was looking for. Thinking of this, the purple-haired girl also sighed. "Elder, what is that world like?" Metropolis is now almost on the brink of life or death. Since the energy in the Metropolis Tower is almost exhausted, they must find a way to make Metropolis shine again. Otherwise, the only thing awaiting them is to lose their light source and perish in darkness. and all of this was given by the legendary glorious god. Originally, their world was also sunny and windy. But ever since the god of glory went mad, their world lost its light, and various disasters occurred, and then their world became desolate. The purple-haired girl wandered around this empty world for a long time, but she couldn't find any traces of human life. However, she saw some places similar to the terrain in the ultimate space. The ultimate deep sea, the ultimate jungle, the ultimate forest, the ultimate canyon, the ultimate desert, etc. All terrains are very familiar. Is this the ground zero of the ultimate space? A flash of thought flashed in the purple-haired girl's eyes. She remembered that the old man once told her that there were a large number of supreme beasts living in the ultimate space, and that terrains like the supreme deep sea were the habitats of these beasts. Between the ultimate space and the new world, there is an area called the ultimate zero space zone, where the terrain of the two worlds exists. Not only that, but creatures from two worlds live there. Moreover, the ultimate zero space zone exists in a void, with floating islands and continents, all of which cannot be judged by common sense. The reason why the purple-haired girl did not notice at this time was because she was in a terrain when she had just passed through Ultimate Cave. After flying on Lunala for a long time, she gradually discovered that something was wrong. She saw large and small islands suspended in the void. Even when she landed on the ground and jumped lightly, she could jump very high. All of these situations are consistent with what the old man told her before about the ultimate space zero zone. Moreover, the old man also told her that she must be careful if she reaches the ultimate space zero zone, because here is a building built by an unknown race of creatures. Most of the previous members of the ultimate investigation team were lost in ground zero. Thinking of this, the purple-haired girl was shocked. She looked around with vigilant eyes and secretly became cautious. However, we have seen many extraterrestrial creatures on land. Although they have that kind of energy aura, they will not take the initiative to attack. This made the purple-haired girl lose her guard greatly. After passing through a dense forest, a tall building suddenly appeared in front of the purple-haired girl. It was a lavender-colored building with an extremely strange shape and a corridor extending into the air. The entire building looks like several tall towers connected by passageways in the middle. Moreover, there was a horrifying scream that made the scalp numb, as if there was some kind of creature inside. Is this the biological race that the old man mentioned? When the purple-haired girl saw this building, her expression changed slightly. However, what followed was curiosity. She was very curious as to why there were such strange buildings in ground zero of space. Furthermore, if she could find a way to make the metropolis shine again, she would go in and try, even if it meant mountains of swords and seas of fire. Thinking of this, the purple-haired girl decided to enter the tall building and take a look. Chapter 165 Poisonous Baby of Alien Beast, Tower of the End. Zarshan gained a lot along the way. Passing through a high mountain terrain, he encountered a blue dog, Lucario, and was directly caught by it. Not only that, in the ultimate world, the refresh rate of the boss Pokémon is also very touching. Throughout Zarshan's journey, he had only defeated no less than 10 boss Pokémons. Of course, super boss Pokémons are still relatively rare. He came to this ultimate world and obtained only 5 types of Mega Evolution Stones. Heluga Evolution Stone, Biting Land Shark Evolution Stone, Bideo Evolution Stone, Bangara Evolution Stone, Fire Breathing Camel Evolution Stone. After Zarshan upgraded the 6 Pokémons to level 95, he took out the fully qualified level 1 Pokémons on the PC. The Lulus, Eevee, Fire Chicken, Little Fist Stone, Little Arrow Bird, Quark Bubble Frog, etc. are the Pokémons he carries now. The levels of the Pokémons improved very quickly. As Zarshan walked forward, everyone had been successfully upgraded to level 60. Of course, except for Eevee, the other Pokémon successfully evolved to their final form. At this moment, Zarshan was walking through a swampy terrain. Unlike the main world's swampy terrain, the ultimate world's swampy terrain does not have any deep water areas. Even if there is water, it can only be described as a puddle. Just as Zarshan was walking through the swamp, a reminder suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Ding. Server-wide announcement, a legendary Pokémon has appeared in the ultimate swamp. As soon as this news came out, all the players were stunned. The ultimate swamp? What kind of terrain is that? Up until now, players have basically explored every biotope in the game. But this is indeed the first time they have heard of this ultimate swampy terrain. Can anyone explain where this ultimate swamp is? That's right, this is the first time I've heard about this terrain, and everyone is dumbfounded. I finally waited until a legendary Pokémon appeared, but I didn't. There's no one in an unknown terrain. Could it be because of the ultimate cave that appeared before? I remember that the ultimate cave appeared in the swamp terrain last time. While many players were discussing, when Zacian saw this message, a smile appeared on his face. I didn't expect a divine beast to appear so quickly. I wonder what divine beast will appear this time. Others might not know where the ultimate swamp terrain is, but Zacian does. Because the information displayed on the map in the area he is currently in is the ultimate swamp terrain. Zacian's eyes looked around, but he didn't find the refreshed legendary Pokémons. So, Zacian began to search around here. Generally speaking, legendary Pokémons will not refresh too far away from the player. Sure enough, after searching for more than 10 minutes, Zacian finally found the legendary Pokémon under a tree. This Pokémon has a very large head with 3 tubular poisonous needles on top of its head. The middle poison needle is relatively larger than the other 2 poison needles. At this moment, its body was emitting a purple light. However, due to the light green mist surrounding it, the purple light also became dark. Not only that, but it is also because this legendary Pokémon is so small that, if you don't look carefully, you won't be able to find it at all. I didn't expect it to be the ultimate beast, Poison Baby. A look of surprise appeared on Zacian's face. But after thinking about it, the world he was in now was the ultimate world, and it was normal for the legendary Pokémon spawned to be ultimate beasts. The level of this Poison Baby is level 50, which is 20 levels lower than that of the average ultimate beast. However, Poison Baby can evolve into a 4-jawed needle dragon, which is the only one among the ultimate beasts that can evolve, besides Little Nebula. Doobie also noticed Zacian at this moment, with a puzzled expression on his face, but then he started laughing. Poison Babe, a strange beast, seems to love to laugh, and is also very mischievous. It can spray colorful liquids when it is happy. Zacian remembers that in the anime Sun and Moon, Zaozi had a Poison Baby. Although he was released in the end, their relationship was still very touching. Zacian walked up to Doobie with a smile on his face. Then, he released Ibrahimovic and introduced Poison Baby into the battle. After entering the battle, Zacian took out the Master Ball directly from his backpack and threw it towards Poison Babe. Poison Baby was looking at Ibrahimovic in summer with confusion when a purple ball hit his head. Instantly, he was stunned. However, just as Poison Baby was about to scream, there was a strong suction force. Immediately, Poison Baby was sucked into the Master Ball. The Master Ball fell to the ground and shook violently. Buzz, 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 buzz. The Master Ball shook a few times and then stopped. And before Zacian's eyes, a message also appeared. Ding. Congratulations to the player for conquering the ultimate alien beast, Poison Baby, with a 100-fold benefit. All 6 ratings of Poison Baby have been upgraded to gold. Ding. Since the Pokémons the player is carrying are full, Poison Baby has automatically transferred back to the PC. After Zacian Giant subdued Poison Baby, he lightly clicked and then checked Poison Baby's information from the Pokémon's phone. Poison Baby's a poison type Pokémon and most of its unique moves are related to poison. Of course there are exceptions. After Doobie learned the Dragon Wave skill, it was able to evolve into a 4-jawed needle dragon, which is relatively strong. Zacian then closed the information panel and continued to move forward. Soon, Zacian walked out of the ultimate swamp terrain. What appeared before him was a dense forest terrain. Not only that, Zacian also saw tall towers not far away. The towers are lavender in color and make some eerie sounds. After seeing these towers, Zacian Yethan was also shocked. Isn't this the End Tower? How could it appear in the ultimate world? The End Tower is a unique building in Minecraft. You need to defeat the Ender Dragon and then throw the Ender Ball into the black substance of the stone tower to teleport to other places at the end and find the End Tower. In the End Tower, there is a strange creature living in the shulker box. When the player approaches it, the shulker box will open and a needle will be shot out, attacking the player. In some places in the end tower, you can also find some boxes. There are many props in the boxes, which can be considered rewards after clearing the end tower. Seeing such a large group of end towers, although Zarshan was a little confused, he quickly came to his senses. The final tower is definitely a treasure hunting place, because there will be some rare props inside. Thinking of this, a smile appeared on Zarshan's face. However, if you want to enter the final tower, you still need to prepare yourself. Because the shulker box monsters in the final tower do quite a bit of damage. If you want to kill them, you must have weapons. And just before summer, I dug up some ores, and they are now useful to me. Later, Zarshan cut down a tree next to it. A workbench is crafted and placed on the ground. After synthesizing the remaining wooden blocks into wooden sticks, Zarshan took out diamonds from his backpack and synthesized a diamond sword. By the way, Zarshan also synthesized the remaining diamonds into a diamond shield. In this way, the shulker box monster's attack can be effectively prevented. After doing this, Zarshan walked straight towards the final tower. The chapters he owed yesterday will be made up together tomorrow. Chapter 166 The Ultimate Investigation Team, Little Girl Mealing. However, just as Zarshan was about to approach the Tower of the End, a sudden violent explosion came from the direction of the Tower of the End. Huge plumes of smoke and dust rise into the sky, and in summer they can be clearly seen even in this place. What's going on? Zarshan frowned when he saw this situation. Then, Zarshan released the fierce arrow eagle, sat behind him, and flew towards the Tower of the End. At this moment, outside the Tower of the End, the purple-haired girl was staring at the large monsters appearing in front of her with horror on her face. After seeing the Tower of the End, she planned to go in and take a look. Unexpectedly, just after entering this strange building, a large number of stickman-like monsters appeared. Not only that, but in every corner of these buildings, there is a purple box with something in it. The purple box would open from time to time, shooting out needle-like attack tools. Originally, the purple-haired girl thought that with Lunera around, she shouldn't be afraid of these monsters. However, the final result shocked her. Although Lunella was very strong, she was gradually losing strength under the continuous attacks. She soon lost her ability to fight. Otherwise, the purple-haired girl was brought the ultimate city protective device, and she might have died here together with Lunella. Fortunately, the purple-haired girl took out the ultimate capsule, put Lunera in it, and finally escaped with Lunera. However, what frightened her was that these monsters chased her in a swarm and bit her hard. As a last resort, the purple-haired girl threw an overbearing bomb from Metropolis Research. The Hacky Bomb is a product developed from stones that emit a special light and can produce enormous explosive power. After the purple-haired girl threw the overbearing bomb, many monsters were blown to pieces, but there were still a large number of monsters rushing towards her. As she hurriedly fled, the purple-haired girl's leg was hit by the sharp weapon thrown by the monster, and she fell to the ground immediately. The severe pain caused the purple-haired girl's face to turn pale. It's over. The purple-haired girl looked at the swarm of monsters in horror, a look of horror on her face. If I had known better, I should have listened to the elders, and not entered the residence of these monsters. A trace of regret suddenly appeared in the purple-haired girl's heart. Before entering the ultimate wormhole, the elders of Metropolis had told her all the dangerous situations she might encounter, especially the precautions at ground zero of the ultimate space. However, it is because of her curiosity that she is now in a desperate situation. Not only that, even Lunella will die here with her. Am I going to die here? The purple-haired girl leaned against the swarm of monsters, her face showing despair, and she closed her eyes in fear. However, just as the purple-haired girl closed her eyes, a faint voice came from high in the sky. Fire arrow eagle, whirlwind knife. The blazing arrow eagle flapped its wings, and two sharp blades condensed from the air and shot towards the monsters. In an instant, those monsters were cut into two halves by the whirlwind knife. The purple-haired girl widened her eyes upon hearing the movement, raised her head in surprise, and looked towards the place where the sound came from. She saw a tall bird suspended in the air, with a human in purple armor sitting on its back. Not only that, the human also threw out several strange bull-like things. Then, a white light flashed from the balls, and then several creatures that looked like alien beasts appeared in the purple-haired girl's sight. Gardevoir, mental strength. Koga ninja, flying water shuriken. Flame chicken, flame kick. She stepped out and rushed towards the remaining monsters. In less than a moment, all those monsters were annihilated by these powerful beasts. Ding. Congratulations to the player for defeating Enderman and gaining 10,000 character experience, 100 times the benefits, gaining 1 million character experience. With the appearance of this message, Zarshian's original personal level of level 95 was also raised to level 96. The higher the character level, the more experience needed to upgrade. If it weren't for the 100 times increased benefit, Zarshian's character level probably wouldn't have been able to increase so quickly. After clearing out all the Endermen, Zarshian also walked up to the purple-haired girl and asked with a smile, "Are you okay?" The purple-haired girl was still in a daze and hadn't reacted yet. After a long time, the purple-haired girl finally reacted and thanked Zarshian. "Thank you for saving me. By the way, why are you here and encountering Endermen? Are those monsters called Endermen?" Hearing this, the purple-haired girl was also stunned. This kind of duck monster can also call out to people. After being stunned for a moment, the purple-haired girl said, "Hello, I'm an ultimate citizen of Ultimate Metropolis. My name is Mealing. Are you from Ultimate Metropolis?" He was a little surprised. He had heard of Ultimate Metropolis. Zarshian remembered that there was an explanation about Ultimate Metropolis in the Sun and Moon chapter. In the Alola region, there is a group of people from another world, called the Ultimate Investigation Team. It is said that they came from the other world of Ultimate Cave, Ultimate Metropolis. The people there have advanced scientific power, but compared to the people of the Pokémon world, they have less interaction with Pokémon. The Ultra Metropolis was filled with brilliance thanks to Necrozma's favor in the past, but after Necrozma went crazy due to the loss of part of its body, the Ultra Metropolis lost its brilliance. In order to solve this problem, the people of Ultra City jumped through the Ultra space and came to the Alola area of the Pokémon world to investigate and find a way to restore light to Ultra City. How do you know? The girl Mealing's face also showed surprise and she looked at Zarshian in surprise. I once heard someone talk about the situation in that world. Are you a member of the Ultimate Investigation Team? Zarshian pondered for a moment, thought about the words, and said to the Mealing girl with a smile, "Yes." The Mealing girl nodded, her eyes filled with surprise. She didn't expect the young man in front of her to know this. "Are you from the Pokémon world?" the Mealing girl asked doubtfully. Zarshian smiled and didn't say anything. However, this expression in the Mealing girl's eyes made her think that the young man in front of her agreed. "Can you still stand up?" Zarshian asked. When the Mealing girl heard this, she tried to move her injured legs and feet. She felt a sharp pain that made her frown. "I'm afraid I can't stand up," the Mealing girl said helplessly. "Okay." Zarshian nodded, looking at the girl's calf pierced by the sharp arrow. After hesitating for a moment, Zarshian said to the girl, "Let me help you take this out first. Be patient." Then, looking at the pained expression on the little girl Mealing's face, Zarshian pulled out the sharp knife. The arrow shot into her calf. "I wonder if the Pokémon skills can be useful on these NPCs." Zarshian looked at the little girl Mealing's bleeding calf and suddenly thought of a way to quickly treat the NPCs. Zarshian remembered that in the Pokémon world, certain skills seemed to be able to work on humans. Of course, it needs to be tested to see if it can be useful here. Thinking of this, Zarshian released Gardevoir and said, "Gardevoir, use a healing wave." Gardevoir shouted, and then extended her palm, a green light blooming. The little girl Mealing was bathed in the light of the healing wave. Her injured calf quickly stopped bleeding, and the wound began to heal. It really works. Seeing this scene, Zarshian also showed a smile on his face. Soon after, thanks to Gardevoir's ability to heal fluctuations, the little girl Mealing's injured calf quickly returned to its original state. The little girl Mealing felt that the pain in her calf no longer existed, so she tried to stand up and walk twice. She found that she could walk normally. A flash of joy flashed in her eyes, and she gratefully said to Zarshan, "Thank you so much. It's a small thing." Zarshan said with a smile. Chapter 167. Investigate the situation of the big city and how to recover your physical strength. By the way, have you entered the end tower? Zarshan remembered the question he had just asked and asked. Yes. Besides these monsters called Endermen, there are also monsters that shoot sharp arrows from the boxes. When the girl Mealing heard this, she remembered the previous situation in the end tower until even now, I still have lingering fears. The monster in the box that shoots sharp arrows? The shulker? Zarshan was stunned for a moment when he heard the girl Mealing's description. Then, he remembered that in Minecraft, the only ones he could find in the end tower were the shulker shells and the Enderman. The one that besieged the girl just now was the Enderman, so according to the girl's description, the one in the end tower should be the shulker shell. However, there are also some rare accessories in the end tower, which are worth exploring inside. Thinking of this, Zarshan also smiled slightly. Let's go in, and take a look. It's better not to go in. It's really scary inside. Those monsters have really high defenses. Even my partner, Lunella, can't hit them. Ling had a scared expression on his face. He shook his head and said, Lunella. When Zarshan heard the name, a surprised expression appeared on his face. But then he thought that in the world of Ultimate Metropolis, Lunella seems to be a very common strange beast, and on top of that, other strange beasts are also very common. Yes, my partner Lunella is still very powerful. Her strength can at least rank in the top 10 of her group. The girl Mealing nodded and said, "Is that so?" Zarshan was a little surprised. After thinking for a moment, Zarshan asked, "Then why do you appear here?" Ultimate Metropolis was originally a sunny place with beautiful scenery. All of us, the people of Ultimate, live under the sun. Day of Glory fell into a state of madness more than 1,000 years ago. When the great god of glory went mad, the ultimate metropolitan world fell into darkness. The vegetation withered, the land became barren, and we, the ultimate people, the reason we are still alive is because we built a Dadu tower that can emit light. For these thousands of years, we, the ultimate people, have been living in the light of the Dadu tower. But the energy will eventually run out. The energy of the capital tower is almost exhausted. In a few years, the people of the ultimate city will once again plunge into darkness. At that time, we, the ultimate city, will probably die in darkness. 50 years ago, the top executives of the ultimate metropolis were aware that this was happening. Therefore, in order to find a way to restore the light, the top executives of the ultimate metropolis specially formed an ultimate investigation team to find out a way to restore the light. About 50 years ago, we, the Supreme People, through the power of Lunella and Solgallia, passed through the Supreme Cave and found a world called the Pokémon World. The legends of the glorious gods Macrozma, Lunella, and Solgallia are told. After investigation, we discovered that the hope of restoring light to our city probably lies there. Therefore, after every supreme citizen reaches the age of 15, I will join the ultimate investigation team and enlist the help of Lunella and Solgallia to find the spatial coordinates of the Pokémon world. Not long after joining the ultimate investigation team, I gained recognition from my partner Lunella, so I tried to find the Pokémon world. However, when I was jumping through space, I encountered an unknown person. According to the Elder's description, this is just a ground zero in the ultimate space, a special space that exists between the Pokémon world and the ultimate world, and there are special characteristics of the two worlds. Creature, the little girl Mealing explained to Zarshan. There is such a thing. Zarshan was also shocked when he heard this. He originally thought this was the ultimate space, but he didn't expect it to be just the ground zero of the ultimate space. I can't go to the Pokémon world now. The girl Mealing had an annoyed expression on her face. Zarshan was just about to comfort the little girl when a message suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Ding. The player activates the quest. Help the girl from the Supreme World and open the door to the Pokémon world. Seeing this message, Zarshan was stunned for a moment, then reacted and said with a smile, I think maybe I can help you go to the Pokémon world. When the girl Mealing heard this, she looked surprised, then asked happily, really? By the way, where's your partner? Zarshan asked. He fell into a coma during the battle just now. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have entered that tower. There was a trace of sadness on the girl Mealing's face, obviously feeling very regretful about what had just happened. Are you in a near-death state? Zarshan frowned. If he fell into a near-death state, he could just use the healing machine to recover. However, Zarshan suddenly thought that people in the metropolis seemed to have no habit of using Pokémon balls. In this case, the treatment will be useless. Maybe we can give her the Pokémon ball to try? Thinking of this, Zarshan said to the girl Mealing, I'll give you a ball. You can try putting her in it. He gave her a level 1 ball for her. He took out the ball and handed it to the girl Mealing. The girl Mealing looked at him and said doubtfully, what is this? This is a kind of ball that can collect Pokémons, called a Pokémon ball. What I gave you is a kind of Pokémon ball, called a level ball. Zarshan, after saying that, he put Gardevoir into the ball and demonstrated it to her. Try to see if you can get your friends into the level ball. Isn't this the ultimate capsule? The girl Mealing was stunned and said in surprise. She took out a capsule and released Lunera. However, she tried to subdue Lunella with the level ball, but when the level ball touched Lunella, it suddenly bounced back. No, because of the existence of the ultimate capsule, this level of ball has no effect. The girl Mealing shook her head upon seeing this. So you can't destroy the ultimate capsule? Zarshan asked. Only the researchers of Ultra Metropolis know how to destroy the Ultra capsule. The girl Mealing said. That's it. Zarshan's brows furrowed. If Lunera can't recover, the girl might not be able to open the spatial wormhole and go to the Pokémon world. It seems that the first way to complete this task is to restore Lunella to normal. Suddenly, a light flashed in Zarshan's mind. Since the healing machine can't be used, wound medicine can always be used. However, when he went out earlier, Zarshan emptied everything in his backpack and didn't put such a thing in at all. Although there are demon tears in his backpack, which can be turned into wound medicine, it is not a wound medicine that can restore the Pokémon from a near-death state. In this case, I'm afraid I just need to enter the final tower to see if I can find some vitality fragments, vitality blocks, resurrection grass, etc. Thinking of this, Zarshan had an idea in mind, so he said to the little girl Mealing, maybe I have a way to restore it, but I don't know if those things can be found inside? Hearing this, the little girl Mealing's expression became surprised, and she looked at Zarshan with expectant eyes. In the towers you just entered, you might be able to find something that can heal your friends. Zarshan said. In that tower. The girl Mealing frowned, with a look of fear on her face. It was obvious that the scene inside had cast a huge shadow over her. Don't worry, I have a way to deal with those things. Zarshan said with a smile. However, we need to make some preparations before that. Since there will be buildings like in towers in this ultimate world, this method is very likely to work. Zarshan remembers that in Minecraft, if an accessory like a bed is used in the End and Hell world, a violent explosion will occur. By chance, when he reached the end, he defeated many bug Pokémon and mel sheep, as well as braided sheep and mountain goats, and obtained a large amount of thread and wool. Threads can be synthesized into wool, and wool can be made into a bed by adding wooden blocks. In this case, it is equivalent to holding a bomb in your hand. Thinking of this, a smile appeared on Zarshan's face. Chapter 168. A real man never looks back to see the explosion. Later, Zarshan synthesized a few remaining oak wood blocks in his backpack into a workbench, and placed it on the ground, and then synthesized the thread into wool. The materials needed for a bed are 3 wood blocks and 3 wool blocks. Based on the amount of wool Zarshan has on hand, he can only make 35 beds. Then, Zarshan took out the diamond axe and chopped down an oak tree in the forest not far away. Ding. Player gets an oak block x1. 100 times the income. Gets an oak block x100. Ding. Player gets an oak block x1. 100 times the income. Gets an oak block x100. Done. After this, Zarshan returned to the workbench and synthesized all these materials into a bed. With more than 30 extra beds in the backpack, the smile on Zarshan's face grew even stronger. Now, let's try to see if this bed can explode like a bomb in this world. The little girl Mealing stared at the young man's operations. He quickly took out a wooden cube-shaped workbench as if by magic. And not only that, the young man in front of him was actually holding a bed that was taller than a person in his hands. How is this possible? The little girl Mealing's eyes widened, and she looked at Zarshan in disbelief. How on earth did he manage to lift a bed with one hand? Zarshan ignored the little girl Mealing's surprised look, turned to her and said, "You're hiding in that jungle. I'll test the power of this bed." Question mark? Hearing this, the little girl Mealing's face was filled with doubt and she looked at Zarshan as if she was a fool. Can this bed be used as a weapon? However, despite thinking this in her heart, the little girl Mealing followed Zarshan's words and hid in the jungle not far away from her. After the girl Mealing hid, Zarshan placed the bed 6 meters in front of her. This position happened to be where he could touch her. He then placed a ring of oak blocks around it to form a bunker. This was to prevent the explosion from damaging it. Zarshan even took out the diamond shield he had made earlier and blocked it in front of him. He looked at the bed through a small observation opening. I saw a clue appear in his eyes. Ding. Do you want to enter a deep sleep? Yes. When Zarshan said these words, he quickly blocked the diamond shield in front of him. Immediately afterward, a huge roar suddenly sounded from the place where the bed was placed. In an instant, a terrifying energy surged out and shot into the sky. The entire ground seemed to tremble at that moment, followed by turbulent airwaves. Zarshan, who was in the bunker, only felt a huge force coming from him, impacting on the shield he was holding. Then, he was completely blown out. When it fell to the ground, the original bunker was shrouded in countless smoke and dust and turned into a mist of pus. After a few minutes, the smoke and dust finally dissipated, and a huge hole appeared where the bed had been. It was a huge crater formed by a violent explosion. Zarshan looked at the huge explosion crater with a smile on his face. It can indeed be used. This way, things will be much simpler. When the explosion came, she was still full of confusion. What happened? Why did it suddenly explode? Then, she heard Zarshan's call and walked over. However, when she arrived at Zarshan's location and saw the huge explosion crater, her face showed a look of surprise. How the hell is this done? The power of this explosion is already comparable to the domineering bomb he brought. Facing the little girl Mealing's doubts, Zarshan did not explain much and said with a smile, Let's go to the Tower of the End now." Soon, Zarshan and the girl Mealing arrived at the Tower of the End, but Summer did not enter it. He observed the situation inside through the door of the Tower of the End and found a purple box placed directly in front of the door. That should be the shulker. Zarshan's eyes flashed. He smiled slightly, then raised his shield and said to the girl Mealing, "Wait here, I'll go in and take a look." Cheyenne raised his shield and entered the End Tower. As soon as he entered the End Tower, the shulker shell in front of the door seemed to sense that a creature had entered. He then opened the dormant shadow shell, revealing a pair of ferocious eyes, and then spat out a needle-like attack. Aha! In the blink of an eye, Zarshan felt a huge force coming from the shield, as if something was beating. Have you launched an attack? Zarshan thought, and then he slightly moved the shield, and saw that the attacking shulker had shrunk again. Just in time, Zarshan seized this opportunity, and took a few steps forward again. However, just as Zarshan reached the center of the hall, another sound of breaking through the air came from high places. Zarshan only felt an enormous force entering his body, and the shadow suit on his body was struck by a sharp arrow. Due to the shadow suit's stronger defense, his HP was only reduced by 1/10. Is there more up there? Zarshan immediately frowned, and then quickly placed a bed in front of the shulker shell in front of the door. He then quickly took a few steps back to get out of the shulker's attack range at a high place. After doing this, Zarshan placed a few oak blocks around him and then fixed his gaze on the bed not far away. Ding. Do you want to enter a deep sleep? Yes. As Zarshian's voice fell, a huge explosion occurred. The terrifying power directly caused the shulker shell to explode into ashes. Not only that, even the walls of the final tower were blasted open with huge holes. Ding. Player kills the shulker and gains 1000 character experience points. With a hundredfold buff, player gains 100,000 character experience points. Is there any experience value left? Zarshian was a little surprised, and there was some surprise in his heart. Then, he saw a purple item floating where the shulker once was. Is that the latent shadow shell? Zarshian quickly walked over holding the shield, and picked up the purple item. Ding. Obtain the shulker shell item X1, 100-fold bonus. Obtain the shulker shell item X100. That's right. The shulker shell is a good thing. It can be made into a shulker box with a wooden box. It has the same function of placing items and accessories as a wooden box. And once destroyed, the contents inside will not fall out, but will continue to exist in the shulker box. Not only that, the shulker box can be carried with you, so you can store more things in your backpack. After putting away the shulker box, Zarshian continued forward and climbed the stairs in the tower at the end. Boom. 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 In the tower at the end, there were continuous huge explosions. Zarshian continued to move forward amidst the sound of explosions. Even if the road was blown up, Zarshian directly built a road with oak blocks, leading up to the top of the end tower. Soon, Zarshian came to a platform in the center of the end tower. There is a large box there. After seeing the box, a smile appeared on Zarshian's face. Then he walked over and opened the box. What caught Zarshian's attention were accessories and items, as many as 8. Enchanted diamond armor, enchanted diamond sword, fairy gem, advanced ball, jackrabbit mega evolution stone, firestone, leftovers, poison needle. Ding. Obtain enchanted diamond armor X1, enchanted diamond sword X1, fairy gem X1, advanced ball X1, long-eared rabbit mega evolution stone X1, firestone X1, leftovers X1, poison needle X1, hundredfold benefit blessing. Obtain enchanted diamond armor X100, enchanted diamond sword X100, fairy gem X100, advanced ball X100, jackrabbit mega evolution stone X100, firestone X100, leftovers X100, poison needle X100. After putting these accessories into your backpack, Zarshian also dug out this wooden box. A shulker box was made from a diamond shell and a wooden box, and placed on the ground. Later, Zarshian organized his backpack and put most of the resources and accessories into the box shulker. After doing this, Zarshian took out the shulker box, put it into his backpack, and continued walking towards the top of the final tower. Chapter 169 Elytra, Rumblestone's Explosive Aesthetics. Please give me a monthly ticket. As Zarshian did the same, he quickly cleared the first end tower. The harvest is quite rich. Not only has the character's level been raised to level 97, but the backpack is also filled with shulker boxes. After reaching the top of the first end tower, Zarshian stood on top of the tower and looked at the huge end tower complex around him. The end tower he cleared was just one of the 8 end towers, and there were 7 more waiting for him to explore. Of course, at the top of each end tower, there is an air corridor leading to other end towers. Zarshian glanced at it and walked along the air corridor towards the second end tower. Just as they entered the top of the second end tower, a sound broke through the air and roared. Hearing this voice, Zarshian's expression condensed, and he quickly blocked the shield in his hand in front of him. Boom. Zarshian only felt that the diamond shield in his hand was hit hard and the whole person retreated a few steps. This attack power is really strong. Even if I wear a shadow suit, I'm afraid I won't be able to survive a few hits and my health will be depleted. The diamond shield is almost depleted. Zarshian looked at the diamond. There was a red stripe mark on the shield and he suddenly frowned. Synthesized items such as suits and tools have durability limits. When the durability changes from green to yellow, and finally to red, it has reached the stage of scrapping. Although it can still be used for a while, the durability will soon bottom out, and the entire shield will shatter and disintegrate in an instant. If the shield suddenly breaks while resisting a shulker attack, it would be a bit overkill. After thinking about it, Zacian planned to synthesize another shield. However, now we still have to kill the shulker in front of us. Moreover, Zacian doesn't have many beds now. When he was in the first tower at the end, he had already used up nearly 20 beds. In the end tower of this game, not only shulker shells will appear, but endermen will also occasionally appear. Before, Zacian used nearly 10 beds to detonate and resist the attack of the ender crowd, but now there are only 9 beds left. We have to find a way. Zacian's eyes flashed, and he leaned towards the shulker with his diamond shield. When he was about 3 meters away from the shulker, Zacian placed the bed in his hand near the shulker. Then, he took a few steps back, staying within the range of its movements, and fixed his eyes on the bed. Ding. Do you want to enter a deep sleep? Yes. As Zacian's voice came out, in an instant, world-shattering energy fluctuations surged out, and the shulker shell turned into flying ashes directly in the violent explosion. He dropped the next shulker shell. Zacian paved a path with the oaks in his backpack, walked over, and picked up the shulker shell. Ding. Get the item shulker shell x1, 100 times the profit. Get the shulker shell item x100. Zacian found a spot on the top of the tower, took out the workbench, and then began to synthesize the next diamond shield. Now the diamond shield in his hand can basically be thrown away. Of course, there are still 6 final towers left, and a few more diamond shields must be prepared. The diamonds in his backpack turn out to be enough. After synthesizing the diamond shield, Zacian put away the workbench. I don't have many beds in my hands now, so I'll have to rely on the Pokémons now. When I rescued the little girl Mealing earlier, the Pokémon's attack skills were also effective against the Enderman. I just don't know if it can have any effect on the shulkers, but logically it should. Let's try it out first to see if the Pokémon's attacks can work with the shulker shells. Thinking of this, Zacian took out the newly synthesized diamond shield and continued to move forward, searching for shulker shells. Zacian's current location is at the top of the second tower at the end, and treasure chests usually appear in the middle of the tower at the end. Therefore, Summer has to go down the stairs surrounding the tower. Soon after, Zacian also followed the stairs in the tower and came to a platform that protruded outwards. On this platform, there are not only shulkers and endermen, but behind them is also a treasure chest. In addition to these, there is also a canvas hanging above the treasure chest, which contains an elytra. There is actually an elytra. When Zacian saw the items displayed on the canvas, there was also a hint of surprise on his face. Elytra can be equipped in the breastplate position of the player's equipment slot. Using the elytra, you can glide in the air. Moreover, in the weightless environment of the Supreme World, you can also fly in the air by relying on the elytra. This can be said to be a very rare accessory. Of course, in the main world, the function of the elytra is actually not as useful as that of the flying Pokémons. As soon as Zacian stepped onto the platform holding the diamond shield, the shulker opened the box and launched a sharp arrow towards Zacian. However, the sharp arrow hit the shield and did not cause any harm to Zacian. At the same time, the enderman standing beside the shulker shell also noticed Zacian and rushed towards him. When Zacian saw this, his eyes flashed and he released Gardevoir. Gardevoir used telekinesis on the enderman. Gardevoir shouted, and then her eyes suddenly burst into a purple light. In an instant, a strong wave of telekinesis erupted, overwhelming the sky and rushing towards the charging enderman. Boom. Then the Shadow Man directly exploded under Gardevoir's strong mental will. Ding. Players gain 1000 character experience points. 100-fold bonus. Gain 100,000 character experience points. After the enderman was killed, Zacian's eyes turned again and fell on the shulker shell that opened its shulker shell. Gardevoir, attack the shulker. Gardevoir heard the order and once again erupted with a strong wave of telekinesis. However, after the shulker shell spit out a sharp arrow, it closed the shulker shell. Gardevoir's mental attack bombarded the shulker's body and had no effect on it. It has no effect on shulkers? When Zacian saw this situation, he also frowned. Zarshian continued to let Gardevoir attack a few times, but none of them had any effect on the shulker shell, curled up in the shulker shell. It seems we can only use the explosive power of the bed. Shaking his head helplessly, Zarshian moved towards the shulker shell with his diamond shield on his head. Then, he places the bed around the shulker and detonates it. Boom. A huge explosion sounded, and the shulker turned into ashes. This platform was also left in ruins due to the explosion. Zarshian directly paved a path, and walked over there. Arriving in front of the treasure chest and the canvas, Zarshian first removed the elytra from the canvas on the wall. Ding. Obtain item elytra x1. 100 times the benefits. Obtain item elytra x100. After putting away the elytra, Zarshian opened the treasure chest. Zarshian looked over, and the things stored inside appeared before his sight. There are relatively few accessories in this treasure chest, including Super Ball, Electric Z, Diamond Pickaxe, and Water Stone. Well, there is also a Super Evolution Stone. Huh, wait. Isn't this Gardevoir's Super Evolution Stone? Zarshian once again moved his eyes to the last Super Evolution Stone. When he looked carefully, he saw that it was Gardevoir's Evolution Stone. Good boy, now Gardevoir can also Mega Evolve. Zarshian smiled lightly, and then put these things away. Ding. Players get the items Super Ball X1, Electric Z X1, Diamond Pickaxe X1, Water Stone X1, Gardevoir Super Evolution Stone X1, 100 times income blessing. Get the items Super Ball X100, Electric Z X100, Diamond Pickaxe X100, Water Stone X100, Gardevoir Super Evolution Stone X100. After putting these things away, Zarshian suddenly thought that his team seemed to be carrying a Pokemon that could self-destruct, the Rumble Stone. I don't know if self-destruction can have an effect on shulkers. Thinking of this, Zarshian had another idea in mind. Then, Zarshian continued walking towards the center of the second end tower. Not long after, Zarshian finally arrived at the center of the end tower. There are many monsters in the middle, 3 shulkers and 2 endermen. Zarshian just smiled lightly and immediately released the Rumble Stone. Rumble Stone, self-destruct. Following Zarshian's order, the Rumble Stone emitted a dazzling light as it approached the ender and shulker shell. In an instant, a violent explosion sounded, and both the shulker shell and the enderman were reduced to ashes by the self-destruction of the rumbling stone. Ding. Players gain 5000 character experience points. It really works. When Zarshian saw this situation, a smile appeared on his face. However, it's just a little bit Felanglangshy. Today is 520. I wish you all a happy 520, and pay attention to moderation. 0. It's the end of the month. Please give me a monthly pass. 50 monthly votes plus 1 chapter. The current number of monthly votes is 385. Readers, please give me a monthly pass. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 170. The first full level player on the server, Spatial Turbulence. Please give me a monthly ticket. Zarshian took out the Pokémon phone, clicked on the one-click healing function, and restored the Lang Stone. He then turned on his PC and took a look. During this period, 3 more small fist stones hatched on his PC. He was able to upgrade them and learn the self-destruct skill. Thinking of this, Zarshian replaced the Pokémons in the team, took out the 3 level 1 small fist stones, and upgraded them all to level 24 with magic candies. After doing this, Zarshian returned to the top of the second tower again, and headed to the third end tower from the sky corridor. The shulker shells and endermen on the end tower ushered in the self-destruct demon. Boom. 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 Suddenly violent explosions were heard from the remaining end towers. As the remaining 6 final towers were cleared, Zarshian's character level was successfully raised to level 100 with the blessing of a hundredfold profit license. At this moment, a reminder also appeared in front of Zarshian. Ding. Server-wide announcement. Congratulations to player. Kai, for achieving a hidden achievement and becoming the first player on the server to reach full level 100. You will be rewarded with 100,000 reputation points and a random legendary Pokemon egg. 100-fold bonus. Gain 1000 W reputation points, and all 6 grades of the legendary Pokemon egg are upgraded to gold. Then, a legendary Pokemon egg with colorful patterns appeared on Zarshian's PC. As soon as this announcement came out, the entire Chinese server went crazy. Crap, what's going on? How did Kai-N reach the maximum level? Kai-N newbie, this leveling speed is simply outrageous. Kai-N yides, my mother asked me why I kneel down to play games. Games by Kai-N. The great god is so outrageous that I'm going to kneel down. Is this a human? This is a great god. Look at the current level of the superior on the ladder. It is only level 71. The great red god has already reached the full level. That is astonishing. I'm so envious. I'm uneducated. What the hell is going on in the world? What happened to the legendary Pokemon egg that the red god rewarded? How many legendary Pokemons does the red god have in his hands now? While many players were talking, Zarshian also clicked on the PC to check the rewarded Pokemon egg. I wonder what kind of divine beast will hatch from this egg. To be honest, Zarshian was also a little surprised. He didn't expect the intelligent master brain to be so generous this time. However, it should be normal to think about it. After all, he is the first player in the entire server to reach full level 100. Zarshian still remembered that he had obtained a Deoxys egg in the plot of Visitor from the Sky, but it had not hatched yet. However, that incubation time is relatively long, 4 full years. Even with a super intelligent incubation device, it still takes a long time. Moreover, according to Zarshian's previous thoughts, the reason why the Deoxys egg takes 4 years is probably because Zarzy has not yet reached the Fangyuan area. According to the timeline, Ash is probably still in the Kanto area now. At the beginning of the second plot of Visitor of the Sky, 4 years had already passed when Zarzy came to Fangyuan for a trip. After clearing all the end towers, Zarshian also planned to find the girl Mealing. He found a resurrection grass in the last end tower. In this way, Lunella will also be able to recover. Later, Zarshian used a one-click treatment to cure the rumble stones, then put them into the PC and replaced them with the newly born level 1 Pokémons with all the qualifications. Now, in Zarshian's team, there are Gardevoir, Tyrannosaurus, Curly Ear, Ugly Fish, Fairy Milk, and Mibulim. Except for the Tyrannosaurus, they are all Pokémons with relatively good looks. Zarshian smiled slightly, released the Tyrannosaurus, and flew towards the first end tower, where the girl Mealing was. Soon after, Zarshian landed in front of the girl Mealing. The Mealing girl breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Zarshian appearing in front of her again. You're finally back. What happened to the series of explosions just now? The Mealing girl asked in confusion. Oh, that's because it explodes to deal with those Shulker and Enderman shells. Zarshian explained with a smile. Then, he took out a resurrection herb from his backpack, handed it to the Mealing girl, and said with a smile, I found something to treat your partner, you can try it. The Mealing girl's face was filled with joy, and she took the resurrection herb that Zarshian handed her. How to use this? The Mealing girl asked. You just need to give it to Lunella. Zarshian said with a smile. Okay. The Mealing girl nodded, then took out the ultimate capsule and released Lunella, who was on the verge of death. Then, she put the resurrection herb into Lunella's mouth and let her eat it. Not long after, the resurrection grass began to take effect and Lunella's mental state improved significantly, and she regained consciousness. Soon, Lunella was able to stand up. Great, Lunella, you finally recovered. The little girl Mealing saw that Lunella had fully recovered, a smile on her face. Lunella cried out and patted the little girl. The little girl Mealing looked at Zarshian with gratitude and said, thank you for allowing my Lunella to recover. You're welcome. With Lunella's current situation, she should be able to open the door to the Pokémon world. Is it a wormhole in space? Zarshian asked. Yes. Yes, the ground zero of the supreme space is very close to the Pokémon world. We just need to let Lunala open the wormhole and we should be able to reach the Pokémon world, she said. Okay, then open the wormhole quickly. I also want to go to the Pokémon world to take a look. Zacian said with a smile. Okay. The little girl Mealing smiled lightly and then said to Lunala, Lunala, open the wormhole. Hearing the little girl Mealing's words, Lunala nodded and then flapped her wings and flew high up. Then, Lunala let out a cry and then her entire body emitted a purple light. Just as the purple light was emitted, an energy vortex suddenly appeared in the void. Soon, a wormhole similar to the ultimate hole appeared in front of the two of them. That's the space wormhole. The little girl Mealing said to Zacian. After opening the space wormhole, Lunala flew up and approached the girl Mealing. Is this the space wormhole? It seems to be the ultimate hole, right? Zacian looked at the spatial wormhole, which was very similar to the supreme wormhole that entered the supreme world, and a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. However, Zacian did not pay too much attention, and then said to the little girl Mealing, let's go in. The little girl Mealing nodded, stood on Lunala's back, and flew towards the spatial wormhole. Seeing this, Zacian also released the Tyrannosaurus, and then flew towards the location of the spatial wormhole. Zacian followed the little girl Mealing into the spatial wormhole. However, just as Zacian entered the spatial wormhole, a reminder appeared in front of his eyes. Ding. Players are traveling through a spatial passage. A spatial passage? Zacian also smiled slightly when he saw this message. What's wrong? Mealing, who was sitting on Lunala, looked at Zacian in doubt. Nothing. Zacian shook his head. However, at this moment, not far away in the spatial wormhole, a huge shadow suddenly passed by. Immediately afterwards, a violent spatial turbulence occurred. In an instant, the entire spatial wormhole shattered. Affected by this spatial turbulence, the spatial channel constructed by Lunala collapsed. Lunala was also affected. Her body suddenly stopped, and she screamed. No, there is spatial turbulence again. The little girl Mealing's expression changed drastically, and she screamed in panic. Hearing this, Zacian was stunned for a moment, and then, a message appeared in front of him. Ding. Affected by spatial turbulence, an unknown error occurred. Seeing this message, Zacian was dumbfounded. What the heck? What's going on? Then, the girls Mealing and Lunala disappeared in front of him. Immediately afterwards, a violent spatial turbulence occurred. Zacian's eyes suddenly darkened, and he fell into endless darkness. Chapter 171 A Familiar Place, Kanto's starting city. Please give me a monthly ticket. What's going on? Zacian discovered that he was now in a dark environment. Not only that, even the violent flying dragon beneath his crotch had returned to its Pokémon ball at some point. Moreover, Zacian also tried to release the Pokémons. However, an error message appeared before his eyes. Ding. Unknown error. Player cannot release the Pokémon. Zacian even tried to take out the Pokémon's phone and wants to teleport away. Ding. Unknown error. Players cannot use the Pokémon phone. Seeing these prompts, Zacian was also a little speechless. I'm numb. What's going on now? Also, in that spatial passage just now, I seem to have seen a huge shadow passing by, so the space opened by Lunala. The passage will be affected by spatial turbulence. Zacian recalled the situation in the spatial passage and fell into deep thought. What the heck is that thing? It looks a bit like the legendary Pokémon, the god of space, Palkia. Only Palkia can travel through space, right? After thinking for a long time, Zacian had no idea and could only helplessly shake his head. No one has this kind of luck. However, just as Zacian became disheartened, a light suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. That ray of light surged in the endless void, exuding a mysterious aura. Furthermore, the light was also moving towards Zacian's position. What is that? Zacian noticed the light and raised his eyebrows slightly. With the appearance of that ray of light, a message appeared in front of Zacian's eyes. Ding. Player has entered a special secret realm. Then, Zacian felt that his entire vision was filled with light. It was as if, at that moment, he turned into light. Say, When Zarshan regained his vision again, he discovered that he seemed to be in a dense forest. Furthermore, the vegetation in this forest is not the oak, birch, or coniferous forest in the game. Instead, the forests are similar to those in the Pokémon world. They are dense and tall. Some trees are full of red fruits, and there are even some Pokémons picking them. Seeing this scene, Zarshan was stunned for a moment. Where is this? Zarshan was a little confused. To be honest, although he knew that he had entered a secret realm, he actually didn't know where it was now. Kanto? Chengdu? Or is it Fangyu and Sinop? Or Kalos, Unova, Alala, Gala? I wonder if Pokémons in Pokémon's phones can be used. Zarshan frowned, and then tried to take out the Pokémon's ball, and release the Tyrannosaurus. There was a flash of white light and the Tyrannosaurus appeared in front of him. Hey, it really works. A flash of joy flashed across Zarshan's face. Then, he tried to take out the Pokémon's phone, and found that it could be used normally. How strange. Zarshan shook his head helplessly, then sat on the back of the Tyrannosaurus, chose a random direction, and flew away. Not long after Zarshan flew away, a reminder suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Ding. Due to the influence of mysterious power, players are unable to travel through time. ? Zarshan was stunned for a moment when he saw this message. This message seems a little familiar. Zarshan remembered that there was a barrier above Celebi's wooden house. After entering, this message would appear. Could it be said, "This is the other side of the barrier, Viridian Forest"? Suddenly, an idea flashed through Zarshan's mind. Then, Zarshan's eyes searched around. Sure enough, not long after, Zarshan saw the scene on the other side through a transparent light curtain. It was the familiar vegetation of a forest in bloom in summer. Birch trees, oak trees, and so on. In the center of the forest was an isolated circle, and the ground was sunken, forming a shape similar to an altar. In the center of the altar is a large tree, and beneath the large tree is the rabbi's wooden house. Damn, it's actually Celebi's hut. Zarshan's eyes widened when he saw this scene, with a surprised expression on his face. He didn't expect that the turbulent flow of space would bring him to the forest not far from Celebi's hut. If that's the case, then its location should probably be the Viridian Forest in the Kanto region. I just don't know which version of the Kanto region the secret realm I entered is. According to the nature of this game, Pokémon, special Pokémon, and Pokémon anime are all possible. You must know that the plots Zarshan has encountered before are all a mishmash of this series, and it is possible to enter any map. Zarshan even had doubts about whether this smart master had traveled back in time. Otherwise, how could he know many related products in this series? After confirming that he was in the Kanto area, Zarshan already had an idea in mind. Now that we have arrived at the Kanto area, we naturally have to go to Zenxin City to see what series of maps it is. Then, Zarshan rode the Tyrannosaurus and flew towards the periphery of the Viridian Forest. Of course, during the flight, Zarshan also took off the shadow suit on his body. After all, his outfit still looks extremely strange on the Pokémon world map. Jobin Forest is located on the south side of the Quartz Plateau. It is an extremely vast forest located between Jobin Town and Nabi Town. Moreover, it borders the forest north of Shinshin Town, and you can also reach Shinshin Town through Jobin Forest. Therefore, the entire Jobin Forest looks like a triangular forest, with one corner covering between Nabi Town and Jobin Town, and the other corner bordering Champion Road on the Quartz Plateau. The remaining corner leads directly to the back hill of Zenxin Town. The location where Zarshan is located is at the very center of Jobin Forest. Compared to Jobin City, it is relatively close to Zenxin City. He calculated the direction and spent half a day finally arriving at the border between Viridian Forest and the back mountain of Zenxin City. Zenxin City is a small city in the west of the Kanto region. Although it has a small population, new people come here every year to welcome the starter Pokémons. Therefore, it is also known as the starter city of Kanto. Zarshan stood on the back hill of Zenxin City, looking at the panoramic view of Zenxin City, with a hint of wonder on his face. I have to say, the scenery of Zenxin City is still very beautiful. It seems that the map I arrived at should be a map from the anime. A really new city with only a few houses. Zengsin City is located in a flat mountainous area in which courtyard houses are scattered. The scenery is beautiful, and it can be said that living here is an extremely pleasant thing. After Zarshan retrieved the Tyrannosaurus, he walked towards Zengsin City at the foot of the mountain. Zarshan entered Zengsin City, but he didn't see any residents along the way, which made him a little strange. What's going on? Zarshan wondered in his heart. While thinking of the landmark building in Zengsin City, he walked towards the Oak Research Institute. Damu Research Institute is situated on a small hill with a very eye-catching large windmill. As soon as Zarshan arrived not far from Damu Research Institute, he saw many residents surrounding the gate in front of Damu Research Institute, holding some banners. There are some slogans written on the banner, like cheering and so on. Is today an important day? Although Zarshan didn't know what they were doing, he still walked over. At this moment, the residents of Zengsin City also noticed Zarshan's unfamiliar face. Hello, are you a new trainer here to receive the starter Pokémon? A resident walked forward excitedly, patted Zarshan on the shoulder, and asked with a smile. When Zarshan heard this, he was taken aback for a moment, then smiled and shook his head, saying, "No, I'm not a new trainer. I came here specifically to visit Dr. Omu." The resident heard this, nodded. By the way, is Dr. Omu at the Research Institute? Zarshan's eyes sparkled and he asked. Yes. Today is a day when new trainers set off, and Dr. Oak is distributing starter Pokémon to them, the resident said to Zarshan with a smile. Okay, thank you. Zarshan nodded to the man, then walked to the door of the Damu Research Institute, rang the doorbell, and waited for the response inside. Chapter 172 Dr. Omu, Zaomeo who overestimates his abilities. Please vote for me. This is the Damu Research Institute. Who are you looking for? A young voice appeared in the microphone, who should be the assistant of the Research Institute. Hello, King Kona has entrusted me to visit Dr. Omu. Zarshan thought for a moment, and said to the voice on the other end of the microphone. When he was on the 7 islands, the 4 heavenly kings gave him a national illustrated book. I wonder if he can use it here? That's right. Then go in first. The man said. Then, the door of the Omu Research Institute suddenly opened with a click. Then, Zarshan nodded to the surrounding residents of Zengsin City, and entered the Oak Research Institute. Zarshan followed the hillside path, and came to the entrance of the institute. At this moment, there was an old man with a white haircut and an old face, dressed in a white researcher's uniform, standing in front of the door. He held a Squirtle watering can in his hand, and was watering the trumpet buds. The trumpet bud felt the rushing water, and looked very happy, showing a happy expression. The old man who watered the trumpet buds was Dr. Damuzicheng, who was famous in the Pokémon world. When Zarshan saw Dr. Omu, he quickly walked over, and said to Dr. Omu with a smile, Hello, Dr. Omu, my name is Kai. I was entrusted by King Kona to come and visit him. Kona. I haven't seen her for a while. I heard her talk about you. You are a powerful trainer. She has already informed the Alliance about your stay at 7 Islands, and is very fond of you. I highly recommend it. Dr. Omu looked at Zarshan with a smile on his face. Hearing this, Zarshan was also slightly surprised, and thought to himself, could it be that all these plots are interconnected? Thank you, Doctor. Go in first. Today is the day when the new trainers come out. If you have time, help me point out these new trainers. The Research Institute. Zarshan followed Dr. Omu into the Research Institute, and came to the hall of the Research Institute. At this moment, there was a table in the hall of the Research Institute, and 3 Poké Balls were placed on the table. The different colors of red, green, and blue corresponded to their attributes one by one. The Research Institute in front of me doesn't seem to be from the unprinted chapter. Although Zarshan was not very impressed by the unprinted chapter, he knew that there was no such scene in the unprinted chapter. It seems that the version of the Omu Research Institute he came to is the version of the decision as yours. Dr. Omu walked over to the wooden table, then looked at Zarshan, and said, I remember Kona told me that she gave you an illustration. I wonder what gathering information on Pokémon will be like now? After saying this, Zarshan smiled lightly, then took out the National Illustrated Book from his backpack and handed it to Dr. Omu, saying, "Now, I have collected a total of 356 kinds of information on Pokémon and have completed about 40% of the illustrated book." "Oh, that's amazing." Dr. Omu flipped through the illustrated book, his face full of astonishment. "So far, the only one who can reach this level is the one who came out of Zenxin City 3 years ago. He's known as the strongest newcomer fighter and trainer, Red. His name is Kai, and his attire is very similar to Kai Hang's. What a coincidence. If Kai Hang hadn't traveled to other areas, I would have wanted him to meet you." Dr. Omu looked at Zaya Cheyenne and said with a smile, "Are you Red?" Zaya Cheyenne's eyes flashed slightly, and he said to Dr. Omu with a smile, "There is a possibility. Mr. Kai, the strongest Pokémon trainer in history." Zaya Cheyenne's heart is full of expectations. "Thank you for collecting so much data on Pokémon for me. I'll back it up first. You can rest first. I'll have something to hand to you later," Dr. Oak said. Hearing this, Zaya Cheyenne nodded and then walked to the sofa beside him. Then, Dr. Oki walked over to an instrument, placed the illustration on it, and began to operate on it. However, not long after, a voice came from outside the door. "Grandpa, is my Pokémon ready?" Then, a boy with a pointed head came in. This boy is Dr. Romu's grandson, Xiaomao. "Oh, Xiaomao, are you here? The Pokémons are on the table. Choose one yourself." Dr. Omu was backing up the data in the picture book at this moment. He simply turned to Xiaomao and said, and then continued to work. Zaya Cheyenne also noticed Xiaomao's arrival and looked at Xiaomao curiously. It was just like in the animation. When Xiaomao saw someone looking at him, he turned his head while choosing a Pokémon and saw Zaya. When he saw Zaya's clothes, he was stunned for a moment. Because this person is very similar to Chihang, who set off from Zenxin City 3 years ago, but this young man is older than Chihang. Therefore, it can be concluded that this person is not Chihang. Xiaomao was a little unhappy when Zaya Cheyenne stared at him and said dissatisfiedly, "Who are you? Are you here to receive the starter Pokémon too?" Regarding these slightly mocking words, Zaya Cheyenne didn't care. He smiled slightly and said lightly, "I'm not a new trainer. I just came to see Dr. Romu for something." Xiaomao's prototype is King Lu, Kai's longtime rival. In the animation, Xiaomao's character is somewhat arrogant. At first, Xiaomao always treated Xiaozhi with a lofty attitude and liked to laugh at him for always being one step behind. And not only does he have a cheerleading squad, but he even has a sports car. His goal is to conquer as many Pokémons as possible and utilize the most powerful ones among them. Unlike Xiaozhi, Xiaomao can quickly realize his shortcomings and correct them. During the trip to the Johto area, Xiaomao seemed to have become a different person. He became polite, calm, and a powerful trainer. At this time, Dr. Romu also finished backing up the information in the picture book, walked over and nodded. "Well, Kai is not a new trainer. He is already a very powerful trainer." A look of surprise flashed across his face, and he said in surprise, "Grandpa, you said his name is Kai?" "Yes. Does he look like Kai Hang?" "But no," Dr. Omu said with a smile. Xiaomao nodded, then looked at Zaya Cheyenne and said, "Since you are already a trainer, your strength should be pretty good. After I receive the Pokémon, come and fight me. Defeat you and let you become my first milestone of victory in my debut. Thank you and let you be a part of my legend." Zaya Cheyenne chuckled and did not take it seriously. He dared to fight this battle. After all, the Pokémon he carries are all high levels, and the starter Pokémon Xiaomao receives are only level 5 at most. Let him fight a level 90 Pokémon against a level 5 Pokémon. Isn't this beating a child? Dr. Omu also showed a hint of embarrassment on his face when he saw this situation. He also knew his grandson's character and helplessly said to Zaya Cheyenne, "Kai, you can fight him. Help me give him some guidance." Before he experienced failure, his grandson wouldn't accomplish anything grow and mature like green. Hearing Dr. Romu's words, Zaya Cheyenne nodded and couldn't refuse. After all, if you have any tasks in the future, you will still have to ask Dr. Omu. "Grandpa, give me the Pokémon." Xiaomao turned to look at Dr. Omu. Dr. Oak nodded, then walked over to the wooden table with 3 Pokémon balls, and released the Pokémon one by one. I saw 3 white lights flashing, and 3 young Pokémon came out of the Pokémon ball. They were Squirtle, Charmander, and Bulbasaur from the 3 royal families of the Kanto region. Xiaomao liked Zishu bastard Squirtle at a glance. He knelt down and stretched out his hand to Squirtle, saying seriously, "Squirtle, come travel with me and become a Pokémon master." Squirtle looked at Xiaomao for a moment, then nodded, stretched out his hand, and placed it on Xiaomao's hand. Seeing this, Dr. Oak carried the remaining 2 Pokémon back into the Pokémon ball, and then handed Squirtle's Pokémon ball to Xiaomao. Xiaomao let go of Squirtle's hand, took the Pokémon ball, then turned around, and looked at Zacian arrogantly and said, "Come on, I have my Pokémon, it's time to start my first battle. Fight, come outside." It turns out that there is a fighting place in the courtyard. Dr. Omu said. Xiaomao nodded and walked out of the research room first. Zacian smiled lightly, and followed behind Xiaomao. After Dr. Oak placed the 2 Pokémon, he followed behind them. Fellow veterans, I already have 404 monthly passes and there are still 31 monthly passes left to reach 50. Fellow veterans, please support me. Chapter 173 Dr. Oak's Mission, a boy named Xiaozi. Soon after, the 3 of them arrived at the battlefield in the school courtyard. Okay, I'll be the referee. The rules of the competition are 1v1. When one party loses the ability to fight, the other wins. Dr. Oki said, standing at the edge of the battlefield. Zacian and Xiaomao nodded, because Xiaomao only has 1 starter Pokemon now, so he can only do 1v1. Xiaomao took out Squirtle's Pokemon ball, kissed it, and then threw it. Go, honey. Hearing this, Zacian's face twitched, remembering when he was watching anime in his previous life. He was shocked by Xiaomao's action. After seeing Xiaomao release the Pokemons, Zacian thought for a moment and released Gardevoir. Gardevoir, the decision is yours. Squirtle and Gardevoir appeared on the battlefield one after another. It turns out to be the Gardevoir from Fangyuan area. It's well cultivated. After seeing the Gardevoir on Zacian, Dr. Oka's eyes suddenly lit up. Then I'll attack first. Squirtle, use the water gun. Xiaomao waved his hand and ordered Squirtle. Jenny, Jenny. Squirtle listened to Xiaomao's order, opened its mouth, and sprayed out a small column of water. Although the speed is not very slow, the power is not very strong. Gardevoir, telepathy. Zacian said lightly. Although this is a tutorial battle, the level difference between the 2 Pokémons is really too great. Moreover, this is the most initial skill used by Gardevoir. I saw that the water gun skill used by Squirtle instantly collapsed under the power of Gardevoir's telekinesis, as if it was devastating. And it continued to shoot towards Squirtle. The speed of the telekinesis was so fast that Squirtle couldn't react at all, and was then destroyed by the telekinesis. The moment it was hit by the telekinesis, Squirtle's blood volume was instantly emptied, and it lost its ability to fight. Instantly kill with a single move. It's so easy. How is this possible? Xiaomao's eyes widened with disbelief on his face. His Squirtle was actually killed with a single move. Squirtle loses the ability to fight, and the winner is Kai. Dr. Oak announced the result the moment Squirtle lost the ability to fight. Is this your strength? It's really too weak. Zacian took Gardevoir back and said lightly. Xiaomao also came back to his senses at this moment, gritted his teeth and said, "Are you humiliating me?" Zacian shook his head and said lightly, "No, I just want to tell you that in this world, and there are many powerful trainers." Xiaomao reluctantly took Squirtle, lowering his head, not knowing what he was thinking. Dr. Omu is still very satisfied with this game. Because this tragic defeat can make Xiaomao clearly realize the cruelty of this world. This allows him to better reflect on himself and change himself. As far as I know, there are 8 regions covered by the Elf Alliance. In each of the 8 regions, there are the strongest trainers in the Alliance, called Heavenly King Masters. The strength of these Heavenly King trainers is very strong. Of course, these are just the ones working in the Alliance. There are many wild trainers. With your current strength, do you want to be the strongest? Stop daydreaming. Of course, it's not impossible. Mito, the new trainer of Zenxin City 3 years ago, Chihang. In just 1 year after his debut, he defeated all 4 kings and champions of the Alliance, and became the strongest champion in the Kanto region. Although I don't know which area he is traveling in now, I'm looking forward to a battle with him. Zhao Xian looked at Zhao Mao with his head down and said lightly, "Do you still think you are strong?" Did you hear that? After saying this, Zhao Mao clenched his fists tightly, and did not say anything. After a while, Zhao Mao raised his head, looked at Zhao Xian, and said, "One day, I will defeat you, and defeat Kai Han." In this regard, Zhao Xian just smiled, and did not say anything. "Okay, Zhao Mao, let's Squirtle recover first, and then let's go," Dr. Oak said. Zhao Mao nodded towards Dr. Omu, and then left the battlefield. After the scene just now, he was ready to abandon his original plan of traveling by car, and prepare to travel on foot, training himself along the way to becoming the strongest Pokémon master. One day, I will reach the top, and become an undefeated legend. After Zhao Mao left, Dr. Omu looked at Zhao Xian, and said in astonishment, "Kai, your strength is beyond my imagination. The Gardevoir I just made. What you observed is probably at the championship level. I'm afraid that only those league champions can compete with you now. It should be considered at the championship level." Zhao Xian laughed. He said, "In the world of Pokémon, when a Pokémon reaches level 65 or above, it is classified as a champion. Gardevoir's current level is at level 95. After Zhao Xian's personal character was raised to level 100, he did not raise the levels of the Pokémon to level 100. Kai, there will be newcomers coming to greet the Pokémon later. Do you want to take a look at the quality of the other newcomers?" Dr. Omu said with a smile. "Okay, I want to see the other newcomers too." Zhao Xian smiled and nodded. In fact, Zhao Xian didn't care about the other 2 newcomers. What Zhao Xian was most curious about was the handsome man called Master Zhi. Well, let's take a rest now. Someone will probably be back soon. Dr. Omu motioned for Zhao Xian to rest on the sofa next to him. Zhao Xian nodded, and then continued to wait. Not long after, 2 new people came. After Zhao Xian took a look, he lost interest. The 2 newcomers quickly took the Pokémon and set off on their journey. At this moment, after Dr. Omu distributed the 3 Usangia he had prepared, he also came to Zhao Xian. Then, he smiled and said to Zhao Xian, "Kai, I have something to ask you for help here. Originally, I wanted Kai Han to help me go, but he is currently practicing in other areas, and cannot be contacted for the time being. He can only ask you." "Oh, Dr. Omu, what's wrong?" Zhao Xian asked with a flash of light in his eyes. "It's like this. One of my students, named Shuri, is a scholar who specializes in the study of unknown totem ruins. She seems to have made an important discovery in the Johto area. He previously sent you a map of the ruins, and I was hoping I could help you investigate it," Dr. Oak said, taking out a map and handing it to Zhao Xian. Zhao Xian took the map and a message appeared in front of him. Ding. A special quest is triggered. Drive Oak's research request. Ding. The player obtains a special quest accessory, map of unknown totem ruins. "Okay, Dr. Omu, I'll go investigate." Zhao Xian nodded and put away the map. "Then it's up to you." Dr. Omu nodded. At this moment, a young man wearing night clothes and messy hair suddenly barged in. "Drive Omu, where's my Pokémon?" the boy shouted as soon as he entered the Research Institute hall. Hearing the noise, Dr. Omu also turned his head. He looked at the young man's caption in front of him and said with a wry smile, "Zhi, don't you want to travel in your pajamas?" Zhao Xian also saw Zhi's image at this moment, with a faint smile on his face. This suit really perfectly restores Zhi's image. It doesn't matter what clothes you wear when you travel. No matter what, give me the Pokémon first. "I don't want to fall behind that guy Zhi, a young man named Zhi anxiously said to Dr. Oak. Dr. Oak was also a little speechless, and then led Zhi to the place where the Pokémons were stored. However, what appeared in front of Zhi was an empty desk. He looked up and down and said impatiently, "Doctor, where's the Pokémon?" Where's my Pokémon? Someone who wasn't late took the Pokémon. Well, it's my fault. I shouldn't be late. Zyozzy looked at Dr. Oak pleadingly. Hitchhiking is like choosing a Pokémon. Being late for just 1 second can change your life. Dr. Omu touched his chin and educated Zyozzy. So, I want to travel empty-handed? Zyozzy looked at Dr. Oak in despair. Dr. Oak touched his cheek in embarrassment and said, there's one more, but give me that one. Hearing that there was another Pokémon, Zyozzy instantly resurrected with full health and said excitedly. Dr. Oak looked at Zyozzy's excited expression, and a flash of memory flashed in his eyes. But he quickly came back to his senses, looked at Zyozzy, and said, there's something wrong with the remaining Pokémon. Anyway, I'm late, so I have a problem too. In his opinion, it doesn't matter what kind of Pokémon it is, as long as there can be a Pokémon to travel with. Please give it to me. Zyozzy said pleadingly. Guys, there are 414 votes. Amazing. Please give me more. Funny. Chapter 174. The God of Skin appears. Dr. Oak's memories. In that case Dr. Omu hesitated. Just as Zyozzy and Dr. Oak were talking, a sudden sound was heard in the corridor on the second floor of the hall. Immediately afterwards, a golden lightning-shaped tail emerged from the handrail of the hall, shaking continuously. God Pie? When Zyozzy saw the Pokémon with its tail exposed on the second floor, a smile appeared on his face. This tail is obviously Pikachu's tail. Zyozzy and Dr. Oak also looked towards the second floor. When Zyozzy saw the Pokémon on the second floor, a hint of excitement appeared on his face. Is it my Pokémon? Zyozzy said. He walked up the stairs and ran to the second floor. However, Zyozzy, who had just rushed to the second floor, fell down the stairs because he walked too fast. Seeing this situation, Dr. Omu was also a little speechless. Zyozzy was also amused by Master ZHI's actions and thought to himself, this is really in line with Master ZHI's usual style. Just as Zyozzy fell, a yellow Pokémon jumped down from the second floor, hiding behind Dr. Oak, revealing a pair of eyes, staring at Zyozzy in front of him. When Pikachu saw Zyozzy's appearance, he covered his mouth and started laughing. Zyozzy was also a little surprised when he saw Pikachu's level. This Pikachu's level was at level 25, which was much higher than the average starter Pokémon. This Pokémon is called Pikachu. Dr. Oak explained to Zyozzy. So cute. This Pokémon is obviously amazing. Ash looked at the cute Pikachu with a hint of surprise on his face. Do you like it? Dr. Omu asked with a smile. I love it so much. Zyozzy exclaimed, then reached out and took Pikachu. While holding it, Zyozzy said to Pikachu, my name is Zyozzy, take care of me, Pikachu. However, the face of Pikachu who was picked up was full of reluctance, and a trace of arc flashed across his cheek. Then, Pikachu you are. Zyozzy was shocked by the sudden electric shock. His entire body was numb, and he cried out in pain. Dr. Oki also couldn't bear to look at him. Pikachu's alias is Electric Mouse. He's timid and doesn't get close to people. If you touch him casually, he'll end up like this. Dr. Oak said calmly from the side. This little thing is nothing. Zyozzy finally recovered after being surprised, and said with determination. That's good. Dr. Oak nodded, then took out a Pokeball, and handed it to Zyozzy, saying, this is Pikachu's Pokeball, take it, he said with a smile on his face. Zyozzy. At this moment, a young woman full of mature charm walked in from outside, holding a bunch of things in her hands. As she walked towards Zyozzy, she said, you don't want to dress up like this, and take the Pokémon on a trip, do you? She's Zyozzy's mother, Hanako. Hanako looked at Zyozzy's appearance with some helplessness on her face. Really? Then, she asked Zyozzy to change, and then put a backpack on her back and said, shirt, shorts, towel, toothbrush, sleeping bag, everything. Everything is ready for you. Okay, let's go. Zyozzy waved at Pikachu. However, Pikachu ignored Zyozzy's greeting, and turned his head away. Don't Pokémon usually stay in Pokémon Balls? Hanako said at the side with some doubts upon seeing this situation. Of course. Zyozzy smiled, then took out the Pokémon Ball, and said to Pikachu, Pikachu, hurry up. come to the Pokémon Ball. Pika. However, Pikachu turned around arrogantly. He nodded and ignored Zyozzy. Hey, let's go in. Zyozzy crouched down and brought the Pokémon Ball closer to Pikachu. When Pikachu saw this, he directly slammed his tail on the Pokeball. The Pokeball in Zyozzy's hand popped out and hit him in the face, leaving a big red mark. Seeing this situation, Dr. Oak shrugged helplessly and said, "To be honest, this is the first time I've seen a Pokémon Ball, but I'm not sure if it's a Pokémon Ball. Pikachu hates being in the Pokeball." Then, he threw the Pokeball to Pikachu again, but Pikachu slapped it away. After doing this several times in a row, Hanako smiled when she saw this situation and said, "Being able to play throw and catch together means that we have a good relationship." Zyozzy put away the Pokeball embarrassedly and then pretended to follow Pikachu, looking very affectionate, put away the Pokeball, picked up Pikachu, and said, "You're right, Pikachu and I are good friends." The face of Pikachu, who was picked up by Zyozzy, turned ugly, and there were marks on his cheeks, flashing arcs of electricity. Seeing this situation, Zacian on the side was also a little speechless and then took a few steps back. Then, a golden electric light suddenly bloomed in the hall. Wow. Zyozzy, Hanako, and Dr. Oak were all enveloped in electric light and jumped up. It's numb. It's numb. Zacian looked at the three people who were electrocuted, shook his head speechlessly, and then said, "Pikachu, stop." Because Zacian's character level was very high, Pikachu also stopped being electrocuted when he heard this. The Pokémon is a very sensitive creature. As long as you treat it well, it will respond to your feelings. Zacian said with a smile. Zyozzy moved his numb body and nodded in understanding. Dr. Oak on the side moved his stiff body, then found the Pokédex and Pokéball, handed them to Zyozzy, and said, "Aren't you in a hurry? Let's go quickly. These are the Pokédex and Pokéball." "Yes." "Ah. I can't fall behind Zyomeo. Pikachu, let's go." Zyozzy suddenly realized, took the picture book and the Pokeball, and then said to his Pikachu. Then, the four of them left the research institute together and walked down the hill. Zyozzy, remember to put on your pajamas before going to bed. Hanako saw that Zyozzy was about to go on a trip, and in the end she still warned Zyozzy. I know. Mom, go back. I'll take care of myself." Pikachu kept nodding. "Drive Oak, what's going on with that Pikachu?" Zacian asked. To be honest, he was still a little curious about the origin of Skin God. The official did not give a specific explanation of the previous life, but said that Pikachu was a Pokémon that lived in the Oak Research Institute. Moreover, Paishen's strength is also somewhat unpredictable. He becomes stronger when he is strong and weaker when he is weak. However, it is meaningless to put it this way. Generally speaking, Dr. Oak should know when the new trainer will set off. Since 4 people will set off from Zenxin City, it is impossible to prepare only 3 starter Pokémon. Therefore, the reason why Zyozzy is traveling with Pikachu is probably Dr. Oak's deliberate arrangement. That Pikachu. It's the Pikachu I met before at the Pokémon summer camp, and then brought it back and raised it until now. Dr. Omu said with a smile. Zacian saw that Dr. Omu was not telling the truth, nodded, and then said, "Doctor, I'm almost gone." Dr. Omu looked at the sky, nodded, and said, "Well, I'll let you waste so much time. I'm really sorry for the time." Okay, the 4 newcomers today are all very good, especially your grandson Xiaomeo. Zacian smiled and shook his head. When Dr. Romu heard Zacian praise his grandson, a smile appeared on his face, and he said humbly, "No way, that brat is still very young. I'm afraid I don't know when I will wake up." Zacian smiled and nodded, saying, "Doctor, it's late, I'll leave first. If you don't understand anything in the future, you can always contact me." Okay. Zacian smiled lightly, nodded to Dr. Oak, then turned around and left. Dr. Oak crossed his arms and looked at the sky as if lost in memories. Ash. Pikachu. In fact, this Pikachu was specially prepared by Dr. Oak for Zyozzy. Because of that incident 40 years ago, Zyozzy was there for him. They are both disciples and brothers. He is both a friend and a benefactor. It seems like it all happened yesterday. Dr. Oki stayed there for a long time and then returned to the research institute when the sky gradually darkened. This passage is quite classic, which is why I dedicated a chapter to describing it. Of course, the reason why Xiaozi and Pai Shen traveled together can be interpreted in conjunction with the Pokémon movie Celebi, Encounter Through Time and Space. Dr. Oak formed a deep friendship with Xiaozi 40 years ago. It is very possible that Skin God was specially prepared by Dr. Oak for Xiaozi. P.S. Great, fellow veterans, 422 monthly tickets. I will probably accumulate 50 pictures tomorrow, and there will be 4 updates tomorrow. Thanks to the book friends, Book World Reading, for the reward. Thanks to the veterans for their recommendation votes and monthly votes. And thanks for supporting this book. Chapter 175, The Cameraman of the Phoenix King, the Rainbow Hero. On the way out of Zengxin City to Joban City, Xiaoshan didn't rush, but planned to slow down and follow Xiaozi first. Xiaoshan remembered that the relationship between Pikachu and Xiaozi wasn't that good at first, but after experiencing the Spearow incident, Pikachu and Xiaozi also eliminated their estrangement and their relationship became closer. The God of Fur awakens. Of course, not only that, Xiaozi and Pikachu also met the cameraman Ho-Oh and left them a rainbow feather. It turns out that there is a rainbow feather in Xiaoshan's backpack, and he doesn't know what kind of quest it will trigger. In fact, he still wanted to conquer the Phoenix King, but he knew that the mythical beast in the game's plot could not be conquered. This is the result of his previous experience. With this thought in mind, Xiaoshan throws out Pokémons to level up from time to time while running towards Viridian City. At the same time, in a wild area between Joban City and Zengxin City, a young boy was holding Pikachu and running vigorously in the direction of Joban City. This young man is none other than Xiaozi. Not far from Xiaozi, there was a large group of Spearows. Because Ash annoyed a grumpy Spearow, and Pikachu released an electric shock to attack Spearow. This completely enraged the Spearows, and then the entire Spearow group attacked Ash and Pikachu. Pikachu was also severely injured in the battle with the entire Spearow clan. As a last resort, Xiaozi took Pikachu and escaped. Unfortunately, these Spearows are holding on to their teeth. Pikachu, wait, we are almost at Viridian City. Xiaozi looked at Pikachu's blurry eyes, with an anxious expression on his face. Xiaozi ran towards Viridian City, while resisting the Spearow attack. At the same time, the sky gradually darkened, a large dark cloud covered the sky, and a light rain began to fall. Just as Xiaozi was running forward against the Spearow's attack, he suddenly stumbled, seeming to have tripped over a stone, and fell straight to the ground. The Pikachu in Xiaozi's arms also rolled a few times not far away, and fell to the ground. Pikachu. Xiaozi stood up with difficulty, and ran towards Pikachu. Pikachu, nothing can happen to you. Ash looked anxiously at the dying Pikachu, with a trace of tears in his eyes. However, at this moment, the overwhelming group of Spearows also caught up with them. When Xiaozi heard the noise, he turned around, and his expression changed. The group of Spearows hovered in the sky, about to attack Xiaozi and Pikachu. Ash gritted his teeth, then looked at Pikachu, placed the Pokeball in front of her, and said, Pikachu, go to the Pokeball. Pikachu opened his eyes weakly, and looked at Xiaozi, actionless. I understand that you don't like being in the Poké Ball. But if you go in now, there might be hope to be saved. Ash looked at Pikachu anxiously and said worriedly, come on, go in. Leave the rest to me. Xiaozi slowly stood up, turned around, put his hat on backwards, opened his arms, and shouted in front of the Spearow. Do you know who I am? I'm Xiaozi from Zengxin City, and in the future, I will become the world's #1 Pokémon master. I will never lose to you guys. The Spearows floating in the sky seemed to become even more irritable after hearing Xiaozi's call. They sped up, and were about to attack Xiaozi. Pikachu, hurry up and get into the Pokeball. Ash turned to look at Pikachu and said anxiously, come here, Spearow. Pikachu couldn't help but feel a touch of excitement in his heart when he saw Xiaozi blocking the huge group of Spearow alone. He seemed to understand Xiaozi's thoughts. At this moment, a flash of lightning flashed in the sky, and the Spearow people began to rush towards Xiaozi. Zyozzy looked at the huge group of Spearow and opened his arms determinedly. He wants to protect Pikachu. However, at this moment, the weak Pikachu suddenly stood up, jumped a few times, and jumped onto Zyozzy's shoulder. Then, with the help of Zyozzy's shoulders, he leaped forcefully, jump into the air. Pikachu. Pikachu gritted his teeth, and a dazzling golden lightning burst out from his body. In an instant, a huge electric current attack filled the entire world. The cloudy weather, before attracted Zacian's attention. At this moment, the dazzling lightning that erupted on the hilly and mountainous plain also made Zacian's heart tremble. Has the plot begun? Zacian's eyes flashed, and then he rushed towards the flat area where the golden light erupted. After Pikachu used the thunder and lightning in the sky to erupt with a powerful electric shock, a huge explosion occurred. In this explosion, many Spearow were directly burned by the electricity. When the remaining Spearow watched this situation, a trace of fear flashed in their eyes, and then they flew away without looking back. The huge plume of smoke covered the sky. After dissipating, the dark clouds in the sky also began to dissipate. I don't know how long it took, but Zyozzy also woke up from the coma. He opened his eyes and saw Pikachu lying beside him, looking straight at him. Pikachu. Zyozzy was stunned. Pikachu cried, and then a smile appeared on his little face. Zyozzy looked at Pikachu blankly, then reached out and hugged him, with a smile on his face. Pikachu stuck out his tongue and licked Zyozzy. The golden sunlight shines on a person and a pet, revealing a feeling of warmth. Ash looked at Pikachu and whispered, "Is it really okay for you to choose me?" Pikachu cried out, and then leaned towards Ash. When Zyozzy saw this, a trace of moved tears appeared on his face. Roar. I don't know what the Phoenix King called. However, at this moment, a roar suddenly came from the sky at dusk. Then, a huge bird spirit emitting a golden light flew across the sky, leaving a rainbow behind. Zyozzy stood with Pikachu in his arms, looking at the Pokémon flying in the sky with his eyes wide open. That's it? The Pokémon flying in the sky that day was naturally the legendary Pokémon, the Phoenix King. As Ho-Oh flew by, it seemed to look at Ash and Pikachu on the ground. The Phoenix King flapped its wings, and a feather fell from its body and floated towards Zyozzy. Zyozzy watched a feather emitting light falling from the sky and reached out his hand to hold it. He caught the glowing feather and stared at the Pokémon flying towards the end of the rainbow. Pikachu, we'll meet that guy someday. After the Phoenix King disappeared, Zyozzy said to Pikachu on his shoulder. Pikachu replied. Zyozzy, not bad. At this moment, a voice was heard, and the person who came was none other than Zacian. Zacian naturally saw the Phoenix King flying down from the sky just now. It's Brother Kai. Zyozzy had a hint of surprise on his face. Zacian walked up to Zyozzy and said with a smile, Zyozzy, congratulations on being recognized by the legendary Pokémon Phoenix King. Not bad. The feather in your hand is called the Rainbow Feather. Under the guidance of the Rainbow Feather, anyone who meets the Phoenix King will become a rainbow hero, Zacian said with a smile. Rainbow hero? That sounds great. Right, Pikachu. Ash had an excited expression on his face. Pikachu replied with a smile on his face. Not bad, Zyozzy. It seems that Pikachu has recognized you. Congratulations. Zacian looked at the close relationship between Zyozzy and Pikachu and said with a smile. Zyozzy smiled and then put away the rainbow feather. At this moment, a reminder appeared in front of Zacian. Ding. Trigger the special quest, Rainbow Hero Challenge. Players must help Zyozzy obtain the Rainbow Hero. Once the quest is completed, they will receive the title of Rainbow Hero. Seeing this message, Zacian was also stunned for a moment. Then a smile appeared on his face. Sure enough, as he had guessed before, following Zyozzy would really trigger a quest. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.